Bring your demons and fight them with us. This is Between Nerds. I'm your co-host, Aldo Mendez. I'm right here with my other co-host, Drew Elias.
Hi, guys. Drew Elias here, co-host of Between Nerds podcast. We are here with probably our most prominent special guest, Mr. Christopher James. CJ himself is back for 2 weeks in a row.
What's up?
Honestly, we just get lonely here in the studio.
I miss CJ sometimes.
Yeah, I miss CJ.
I miss you guys a lot.
CJ doesn't hang out with us on New Year's Eve, so...
Okay.
But we've gotten to like the banter between three people.
Yeah, we miss it a lot. Mm-hmm. And me and Aldo will always prioritize having guests. You know what I mean? So, if you are in the El Paso area and you're not a fucking weirdo, and maybe we know you, hit us up on our social media pages, at Between Nerds. That's BetweenNerds, or email us questions, comments, or concerns at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com.
Emphasis on not being a weirdo.
And please, visit our YouTube. We do put up our audios on YouTube. It is too crazy to make a video. I don't know how the fuck
honestly
I start doing that.
I look that up all the time. I'm like, how do podcasts simulcast their video recordings? It literally does not make sense to me.
And it's like, are we dumb? And maybe the microphone from an iPhone is good enough for a video like that? But how the fuck do you match the audio that we're recording right now to a video? We try to do it.
Like, if we do cuts on our audio file to make the podcast. Yeah. How are they doing that?
They probably just sync the cuts with the video. I mean, that probably just takes a lot of time, but they probably just match the timestamps.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. Yeah. Well, whatever. If you want us to be able to hire somebody to do some production behind the work,
like us on YouTube.
Like us on YouTube. Leave a comment. On our Podbean page, which is the main website right now.
We have a follower.
Yeah, we have one follower.
Yes.
We have one follower on our Podbean page. Please be a follower on Podbean. Please like or subscribe or whatever on whatever podcast platform you're looking on. I think on Apple Podcasts it's a subscription, and then
they don't give a shit about us.
And then on Spotify they call it following.
They don't give a shit about us.
And then on Pandora I think it's also following. So whatever platform you're listening to us on, because I know we have some random fucking platforms that we're on. Please just like, comment, subscribe, leave a review if able. I know that helps a lot on Apple Podcasts especially. And
shout out to France. We have some listeners over there.
Randomly, for whatever reason, earlier this week, like Monday and Tuesday, we had an extra 200 downloads. And me and Aldo had no idea where it came from. And it subscribes almost, it trends almost exclusively with our uptrend in French listeners.
Hey,
fucking man, crazy.
Wherever it takes them, man, let's listeners come as they are.
Absolutely. And we do need to do some housekeeping. We are recording on January 1st. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Year's, everybody.
We tied a big one last night.
You did.
Hey.
I did too. But I'm glad
you Ubered home, which
everyone Ubered home. Yeah, I Ubered to the spot, and I was very comfortable getting absolutely shit faced. It's because I'm not driving. This shit does not matter to me. Yeah. So
shout out to my son for sleeping 12 hours last night.
Shout out to Zaid Mendez, went to bed at 10. Yeah. We were monitoring all night. We had the mic in his bedroom.
Absolutely.
We were making sure he was all right. Didn't hear a peep.
Maybe a little and that's it.
He honestly, Zaid's probably the MVP from New Year's Eve. to be honest.
MVP Zaid, that's nice.
MVP.
So I'm talking about our housekeeping notes. Since December's over, thank you for all of nobody that used hashtag OurNerdsMatter on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube comments. We literally had 0 entries for the month of December.
And we're not asking you for anything. Just a like. If you see the fucking tweet, just
I
like
apologize.
it.
I could have sworn.
Ours do not count. I know there's going to be people that when I tweet it out on our personal Twitter account, they're coming at me being like, oh, if we like the Between Nerds tweet that uses hashtag OurNerdsMatter, maybe they're going to donate more. No. It's when you use it also. We need likes and retweets on original tweets or Instagram posts or YouTube comments that use whatever the hashtag is for the month.
Every individual tweet matters.
So me and Aldo, out of the goodness of our hearts, went ahead and donated $10 anyways to the National Association of Mental Illness El Paso chapter, just because we're nice fucking guys like that. But just so everyone listening knows, you did not help. You did not contribute to that whatsoever.
And please use it not only on Twitter, on YouTube as well. Please, YouTube listeners, whoever you are, drop your recommendations. Drop what you thought about the episode. I don't know.
Tips, help, anything.
Use the hashtag there too. We'll count it.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
And you guys will be entered to the giveaway as well. Because every month we also give you free shit. Besides giving free shit to other people.
Like we're literally giving out free anime figures.
We're on the red, people.
And yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. We're giving to nonprofits. We're buying toys, and all we ask is that you help use hashtags on social media. Y'all can't even accomplish that. It literally does not make sense. So there is no winner for the month of December. If you want to make it up to me and Aldo, and maybe CJ by association as a friend of the podcast, please use Down for Nerds. That is DOWNFORNERDS, an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment. That is hashtag Down for Nerds. And we will be donating to the Down Syndrome Coalition for El Paso.
Mm-hmm. We did this with the autism before, you know, and I feel like there hasn't been any conversation about, you know, I mean, I don't know anybody with Down syndrome.
Honestly, I have known people in my life, but like when I was in public school, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I actually do have two cousins. One cousin, my cousin Adrian, does have Down syndrome, and I lost a cousin when I was, I want to say maybe like 4 or 5. She was an older cousin of mine, Alejandra. She passed away, and she did have Down syndrome. So actually, this is I acknowledge this one. This is actually a good charity you guys chose.
So you're gonna tweet the hashtag, right?
Yeah, actually.
Hashtag Down for Nerds, right? Okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
At the end of the month, damn it, I forgot to use the hashtag.
I know. Everyone's such an asshole. But please help us donate to these people that like are not an invisible portion of society. You know what I mean? Like CJ's talking about. There's family, there's friends. That like these are people, you know what I mean? So this is a support organization. I think it's a really good nonprofit. I'm really glad Aldo made a point when he showed up to my house today.
It was my birthday present. So please use it, guys.
Aldo's birthday's on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
January what?
5th.
5th. That is Wednesday, January 5th. Everyone, please tweet at
All the vibes.
All these vibes.
Yeah, all these vibes.
Yeah.
No extra E's or anything?
Double E's.
Double
and
E.
a Z.
All these.
Please tweet at all these vibes. Wish him a happy, merry birthmas.
And if you want to give me something, give me a like or comment or uses of the hashtag in the Twitter
That
or
would be
YouTube.
excellent. Because what we're trying to get across is you can totally be selfish when it comes to using the hashtag. Because we will give you some cool free shit.
Yeah, we did send out the last winner's hashtag. You know, well,
from the
last month because you guys suck.
From the month of November,
yeah, for the month of November, they haven't hit us up. I know they.
I know it got there.
You got there. Okay.
As a former recipient of one of the prizes, I can testify that yes, the prizes are actually worth it.
Tell us what we got you.
They got me
a pampered giveaway.
They got me it's a One Piece Mugiwara straw hat like action figure, and he's cocking up the gum.
That one's so fire,
dude.
I wanted to keep
and that's
it
what
when
I'm
we got it for
what Aldo's talking about is we will tailor your interest to what your prizing is. Like we don't buy it until we select a winner.
It's literally still on my. It's what's keeping on my One Piece manga collection. Like from tipping over, it stands up.
Amazing. Right, so please use hashtag Down for Nerds. DOWNFORNERDS in an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment so we can donate to the Down Syndrome Coalition for El Paso, and you can win some free anime shit at the end of the month. I'll get better at the spelling, I promise. It's January 1st. The longer the month goes on, the better I get at doing the housekeeping notes.
And thank you for all the listeners. Honestly, man, like this has been going on for more than a year.
We love it so much. Even like people that I don't even think listen, I'll show up to Yu-Gi-Oh! And they'll be like, "Hey, you're still doing the podcast. I see the episodes keep coming out. I'm not listening, but like keep it up, bro. Like after like." Just keep it up, and eventually, like it'll blossom.
It's funny because I'll run into people that watch anime or something like that, and I'll be like, "Oh, I have these buddies that's
exactly what
have
I like
a podcast,"
to hear.
and I'll just like, "There you go, between nerds, listen to them, check them out."
That is literally what I want to hear.
Yeah, because absolutely.
I mean, I just like that we're willing to watch anything, and that's why the suggestions are important.
Oh, they definitely. You guys definitely are. Yeah.
we're not gonna talk bad about it just because we didn't like some aspects about it. We're gonna try to really digest the fucking thing.
Spoiler, no spoiler. We're gonna be talking about Demon Slayer in a bit. And last week we talked about My Hero Academia. What I was bitching about on Twitter this week is that we've been too highbrow lately. Me and Aldo are so unopposed to watching anything that I'm almost upset like how good and like mainstream this shit's been. Like, do not get me wrong. I have minuscule complaints at best about My Hero Academia. I love Demon Slayer to death.
I actually remember a conversation. It was a while ago though, but we were talking about animes to watch, and you specifically said, like, we're not trying to go too mainstream.
It's because because don't get me wrong, me and Aldo have great opinions on everything. And you too, CJ. But, like, I want some smut. Like, give us, like, some smutty recommendations. February's coming up. Our last February was absolutely amazing. Like, a 10 out of 10 month. Because we chose, like, dog shit, like, Valentine's themed, mushy gushy.
I forgot about themed months, bro.
It's because nothing beat February of last year.
We tried to do it with horror anime for October, but it didn't hit the same.
Oh, because horror anime all suck.
Yeah. Chainsaw Man is coming, so hopefully that's good.
Apparently it's supposed to be
really
good.
That's not terrible, but it's gory, though.
I think it'll be tight.
Yeah.
Honestly, what blows my mind about Chainsaw Man is, like, I've never read any chapter of Chainsaw Man, but, like, it seems to be a very clear consensus that it's, like, amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And I hate when nerds will jump on, like, Twitter or something and be like, you can't like Demon Slayer. Do you know how great Chainsaw Man is? Or you can't like Jujutsu Kaisen. Do you know how amazing Chainsaw Man is?
Yeah.
Bro, it's cool to like all three. I don't know where this exclusivity came from in the anime industry.
It's separation anxiety, bro.
It's the way they are with, for example, like One Piece,
anxiety.
Naruto, and like Bleach. Yeah, it's dude, I hate that shit.
Bro, I literally watched all three at the time. I don't know what to tell you. I like anime.
You know, there's more anime, right?
But it's like, fine. If you watch one, it's not like one magically fucking disappears. They're both there. Just watch them both. You know what I mean?
If it's a good enough project, I feel like me responding well to it will be strengthened, and if it's bad, then maybe like the comparison will be like if I'm talking My Hero Academia, I'm like, One Piece kind of does world building better, but Demon Slayer, Bleach totally did the demon horror afterlife aspect kind of more original, but like, does it stand up? Does it not? It's okay to like all of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No one has to be exclusive.
Yeah.
So,
but something that people really like is Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I'm rambling a little bit. I'm sorry. I lost track when it came to the housekeeping notes. But yes, this is episode 76 of Between Us Podcast, and we are talking about Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer, the probably the best original work to come out in the past 4 years.
2019, yes, sir.
Like literally. Especially with shonen. Like, shonen is the most, like, popular genre of anime. Because it's the most easily digestible. And the biggest shonen that came out before Demon Slayer was My Hero Academia. Which was, like, 2017, 2016, something like that. So, like, this is groundbreaking manga and anime writing right here.
From, like, the most underdog personality in the manga fucking...
I love her so fucking much.
In the fucking industry, man. I mean...
the mangaka for Demon Slayer is Koyoharu Gotoge. So
hopefully we did not butcher that, but...
I mean, Drew did.
Yeah. That sounded pretty spot on.
Hey, honestly...
Koyoharu Toge.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if this sounds offensive, but like the slower I try to read Japanese names and just do the syllable,
the more racist it sounds.
Hopefully, the less worse it sounds. Because when you just try to like breeze through it, like pretending like you know what the fuck you're saying, I feel like that's when you fuck it up more. So if you break it down by syllable, because I know that's how the Japanese language is spoken, it sounds better in my head at least.
Sounds more believable.
Yeah.
So, and she's a female mangaka.
Yeah, shout out to the ladies, because, man, she did a hell of a job.
Sailor Moon is... I mean, this... If I'm going to put great female mangakas by
she's
side,
like literally number one. Besides, like, the mangaka for Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Like, Demon Slayer was being published weekly on Weekly Shonen Jump. You know what I mean? Like, this is the Weekly Shonen Jump. This is the make or break organization in the industry when it comes to manga.
So she was up there.
And something really sad about her is I was reading Demon Slayer week to week near the latter halves. Like, I've read the entire manga, but I didn't start reading when there were maybe like 3 months left of the manga, and there were a lot of breaks happening there at the end. We've talked about it before when it comes to the author of Hunter x Hunter, that this is a cutthroat industry to the point that like people literally will get sick and die from the amount of stress that they're having trying to write week to week.
Overload of work, yeah.
It's terrible,
and it's nothing compared to like worth ethics in the USA. Like, this is somebody taking a shot at their fucking dream.
Right. Yeah. This is her first go at it being published, and she's throwing it out of the park. You know, she's hitting it out of the park. Like, this was the #1 manga, not even close. For forever, it was always One Piece, no matter what Shonen Jump was publishing. But Demon Slayer blew it out of the water in 2020.
They had more sales, right?
Way more. That was the first time since, like, Bleach, the first, like, 4 volumes of Bleach, that One Piece ever been blown out like that.
Which is impressive. That says a lot.
Yeah.
And for it to be finished, it's something that says a lot about it by itself in such a short time.
In under 400 chapters.
It's like the 12th episode version of an anime for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gave us so much in so little time. You know, what is it? 300? What?
It's like 3-4. It's less than 400 for sure.
So the story's done, but
it's
like
really 300. Holy crap! I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, we love One Piece, and that's just been going on forever, but we still love it so much. But Demon Slayer is something to put up there in the conversation with good anime, just like how One Piece is.
Demon Slayer is literally like a modern classic. Like,
definitely.
People are biting the bit to like try to
They're
get.
They're
like,
gonna talk about this forever.
Forever. Everything for the end of Forever is going to be compared to this. This is. It's less chapters than I even said. It's 205.
I was going to say, I knew it was.
It's 205. I thought it was like 300 something.
No, I was going to say, I thought it was only like 200 something.
Wow, that's like...
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And honestly, it's probably the easiest manga to read I've ever seen, like, in my life.
For her to tell, like, this such expansive world and story in such a short amount of time says a lot about
leave shit to the imagination too. They didn't try to flush shit out that we didn't need to be flushed out.
It's written like a modern epic. You know what I mean? Yes. Like when we talk about Ghibli films, how there's a lot of fantastical elements that are just like left unexplained because, like, I'm thinking of like Princess Mononoke or something like that. Like it's I don't know. It's a princess bitch that lives with wolves in the forest and there's gods. What the fuck do you need to know?
Nothing else.
That's what I mean. Like, do not question it. It's just fucking happening, and that's exactly how Demon Slayer is written. And you compare that again to something like Hunter x Hunter or even Bleach. Like, they will break down their fantastical elements down to a science almost.
What I like about this, but like no spoilers, but since me and Drew have read the entirety of Demon Slayer, but what I like about the writing in this is there's never a dull moment, even during the downtime. Like, even during downtime moments, there's never a dull moment in this series. Like, there's always stuff going on and stuff happening.
I was gonna say the opposite.
Really?
You think so?
Because but like, not in a bad way. Like, I know it sounds, when you talk pacing, the first thing that comes up is like, oh, so it's slow then, and it's bad, right? But like, the pacing in Demon Slayer, I think, is my favorite of like anything I've fucking seen ever. But like, it is slow at times, but purposely slow. Even in the anime, like, the final fight is episode 19. The big fight of the season in season 1 of Demon Slayer is episode 19. There's 26 episodes. We get like 6-7 episodes about literally nothing. And the manga is written in the exact same way. Like, they will throw the in-between, like, she wrote in the in-between parts between the big fights purposely, painstakingly slow. And it's always a training arc. It's always a big realization, and it feels earned. And the actual fights are so fucking breakneck. That, like, the big fights happen in like half an episode. And you compare that to anything else. One Piece, the best fight in One Piece with, what's his name? The fucking cougar guy.
The cougar guy?
The CP
Lucci.
How many episodes was that? The Lucci fight, like 10?
Yeah, that was a while.
11 episodes?
No way.
Yes, bitch. The best fight to ever happen in One Piece. It's like 11, 12 episodes. Demon Slayer will accomplish that same bit in 20 fucking minutes.
Dude, fuck, for real, man. And it's...
But I think that adds more to like.
I mean, you have to think about. You have to think. I'm sorry, CJ.
No, go ahead.
You have to think about it as like the point of view of the creator. This is her baby. She wants to see him do dumb shit as she's writing the story. You know what I'm saying? The pacing for me, when they let the anime lets you know this is leisure time. It's like, oh, they're just fucking around in the cabin. They're getting some ramen. They're doing something. You know?
They're learning total breathing constant.
Yeah. But those moments are like cross-threaded with like moments of teaching opportunities or learning opportunities with Tanjiro, stuff like that. So in this story, we follow Tanjiro.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
Yeah, his name's literally Tanjiro. Right. So the issue with the Kamado family is the backdrop to Demon Slayer is his whole family fucking gets murdered by a demon, and the only one still alive gets turned into a demon. I
mean, your typical backstory, right?
It's typical, but not typical.
No, it's not.
No. What I mean typical is something very
like your parents
to
died. That's a shonen thing, you know.
Yes.
It's like the Batman story.
But your whole family,
exactly.
Jesus
but
Christ.
like the thing about Demon Slayer, and you compare it to like the big shonens right now. Demon Slayer started this modern like horror shonen trip. You know what I mean? Because like this was coming out before like. Chainsaw Man had even started before Kimetsu no Yaiba got popular. I think it was being written in the early stages at the time, and like modern shonen right now is just super horror. And we've talked before, like horror anime are always dog shit. Like they're always really, really, really fucking bad. And the thing about Demon Slayer is it has horror elements, but it is so like typical shonen that it's amazing.
I think there's a lot of power in the word demon in Demon Slayer. Because to me as an audience, it gives me this like that whole Catholic fear. You know what I'm saying?
Although the Catholic schoolboy is terrified of the word demon.
and no, but like that word, it puts a lot into imagination that this is like a very dark world building. You know what I'm saying? That there's demons. You know, but like a demon hits different than zombie or than
like zombies are almost a joke right now. They're almost like a meme. Yeah.
But demons can be at this point, like the way what Aldo was saying, could be like anything. Could be a person, a humanoid, or something like that.
And this macabre fucking outlook on demons and Demon Slayer, it's crazy. I mean, we see a whole scene of like the whole family being bodied like across the fucking
yes, bro. That's such an insensitive word, but that's like exactly what fucking
it looks like, dude. That's what it looks like because they're just spread around. 2 little kids, the mom and the sister, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's horrible.
Well, I think what blows me away about it too is that like it's even worse because the demon, like the main demon that makes other demons, his name is Muzan. Muzan is.
You gotta be careful, remember? Because he can hear you.
Exactly. It's like it's like
you're listening. Please use hashtag down for nerds.
Muzan is the one that killed Tanjiro's family, and that becomes really, really, really important later on because he's lived for hundreds of years. He's turned like tens of thousands of people into demons in Japan.
Am I wrong in saying that his best form is his Michael Jackson form?
Definitely.
I don't know. I appreciate all of it because
honestly, I do. I'm sorry.
Smooth criminal Muzan.
I think his girl form at the end is terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because it's he's just like murking other demons, and it's just like, but that's a girl.
But that's
and so the thing about Muzan is he's a recluse. Like he's like a myth almost. Like he's legendary. Like people have never seen or experienced who Muzan is because it's like
even like the lowest demons to him are like 10 gen out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because, like, people get turned into demons by being exposed to Muzan's blood.
It's like a bracket system.
Right. So, if Muzan's the number one, never can be touched, number one fucking demon because he's the demon that creates demons, it's like a tiered system through how much blood of his that you have or how many people you've eaten.
Like when you cut like cocaine, like it's 100% pure, and then you cut it down, like when you get a street level, kind of.
Okay, I'll take your fucking word for it. So like Tanjiro's family being eaten by Muzan himself and not like an offshoot of the Muzan lineage is terrifying.
His blood is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Right, because it's like he's such a recluse that he, like Tanjiro and his family live in the rural people. You know what I mean? They live up on the mountain, they produce charcoal, they're country folk. Mm-hmm. So for the demon of all demons to point out this one humble house in the middle of fucking nowhere because he knew he'd never get caught. And just body that. It just eats all of them and destroys all of them. It's terrifying.
It looks horrible because I mean, Tanjiro is somebody that I can compare to Midoriya in My Hero Academia. Mm-hmm. Like their character trope is not tropey at all.
Such a good character, such a good person. It's annoying.
Yes, correct. But I mean, he's just all we know about this kid is like he's walking back with some logs to his family. We initially know that that's a good thing to do, and we think of this character as a good person. Mm-hmm. He's walking back and he gets to his house and everybody is bodied in the floor. It's crazy and bloody, and they put like this kind of shadowy effect into the animation to where like you don't really see the bodied person on the floor all bloody. Mm-hmm.
But remember, you do. Before he gets there, actually, it makes you kind of wonder. He gets stopped by that one guy because he tells him, that's when we first get introduced to the concept of demons, because that one guy stops him. I can't remember what his name is, but he tells him, he's like, hey man, it's getting dark out there. You don't want to be walking in the forest at nighttime. Like,
because I think it was just a country guy, no?
Yeah, it's just like a random.
It was like his neighbor or something, somebody he knew from town, because Tanjiro goes into town to sell the family's charcoal.
Yeah, being a good guy, like the way Aldo was saying. And then that's when this dude tells him, he's like, hey man, you need to chill here for the night. But imagine if Tanjiro told him, he's like, you know what, no, I'm going to take my chances and I'll just go home. He would have gotten bodied too. No, he was there still.
And so Tanjiro, in this super like horror directed thing like Aldo's talking about, like it's fucking terrifying, the scene where Tanjiro like approaches the house. He doesn't hear his youngest siblings' voices because they're fucking children. He doesn't hear his parents. He doesn't hear anybody. And he just quietly just walks up to, it's like a zombie movie, you know what I mean? It's like a Resident Evil game.
Ghost Town fucking sound.
It reminds me of the Resident Evil games, you know what I mean?
Now that you mention it, yes, because that's one of the things that I was terrified about playing fucking Resident Evil 2 in the 64, bro. It's crazy stuff.
Well, I remember Resident Evil 4 the one in Spain.
I don't know.
I think that one was already like the PS2. It's the one where this white guy shows up to a Spanish village and all the villagers are like super rural and fucked up.
Oh, I think that's 4.
That's 4, right?
I've only played 2, and the 5th one was ass.
5th was pretty ass, yeah. I remember that.
And the 7th one.
I remember the mansion one, which I think is the first one. And then I remember, I think part 2 was the one with that one store clerk. And then he pulls out his shotgun and he's just like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. And then he gets bodied by some zombies, and then that's like the only thing I remember from that game.
Anyways, but that's what's terrifying about this scene. Because like it's completely silent and you just hear like this gnawing once he opens the door. And his oldest sister, his favorite sister, Nezuko, has been turned into a demon. And she's like, is she eating somebody at the time when he pulls up?
Or? No. She's knocked out. She's
knocked out. And he's like, Nezuko, you're still breathing.
She's laying on the body of one of the other siblings. Because she was trying to protect them from getting eaten from whoever this demon was.
And we're talking about the sweetest little kids a la fucking Promised Neverland kids.
Most unproblematic family you could ever come across.
They're just trying to sell coal, bro, and they're just
coal, bro.
Coal of all things, coal.
Yeah. And like to see the body, he feels her neck, I believe, or something. Like she knows that she's breathing or something. He doesn't check her neck because that would be like too medical for the time, you know. But
I think he just feels her body temperature.
Yeah. So he carries her out to save her, but then she wakes up later, like through like snowy ass like tundra, of fucking forest, and she wakes up and tries to attack him.
Because she's a demon.
And she gets fucking sized up. It's weird because she's 12, I think.
Something like
yeah,
that.
I believe she's 12. I believe she is 12.
And Tanjiro's like 17 or something?
No, I believe Tanjiro's 16? 15 or 16. He's rather young.
And like she was always like a small, like frail girl, but like now that she's a demon, she, like what Aldo's talking about, she gets sized up. So Tanjiro's like in the middle of this snowed out forest, being like, "What the fuck is going on with my sister?" Like whenever Nezuko goes demon mode, she gets like these black like vertical lines down her eyes. Yeah, cat eyes. Like she's not there anymore. And then
and her strength goes crazy up.
Well, she's essentially a first touched by Muzan.
Right, which is mind-blowing. Because we're talking about tiered systems, like the closer you are to Muzan in terms of lineage, the strongest you are.
Yeah, the more blood you're donated.
Directly from Muzan. Because like there's demons that receive Muzan's blood who get really powerful, and then when they give their blood to somebody, those demons aren't as strong. Because it's not... you're like 2 tiers removed from Muzan himself.
Yeah.
Nezuko receiving blood directly from Muzan makes her like in this elite like top 12 level demon thing,
and she's just a little girl,
and she's just a little fucking girl.
Yeah,
just being possessed by demons,
by demon blood or whatever the fuck. And it's disappointing because Tanjiro like just lost his whole family. He thinks he found his one surviving member of his family, and now he's about to get eaten. And in episode 1, an unnamed swordsman shows up, and his name's Giyu. Giyu. He tells Tanjiro like, get away from that thing. It's a demon. And Tanjiro being like, no, what do you mean it's a demon? That's my fucking sister.
Oh, you're right. Because as Nezuko's attacking him, he saves him from her.
That's when he notices Nezuko crying, I believe. Mm-hmm. And that's when he realizes
she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, she's kind of... He's like, yo, she's actually somewhat still in there. You know what I mean?
No, but like, we see an attack from this guy. What's his name? The servant?
Yeah, Giyu.
Giyu tries to attack her, but...
Nezuko...
Tanjiro defends her. Mm-hmm. And Nezuko, in her demon fucking mind, is like, oh shit, I just tried to eat that guy, but he's my brother. I remember him being my brother. Like, he loves me and he protected me. And it's this whole, like mind thing with Nezuko. She's like half demon, half not, you know? Mm-hmm. And as that happens, fucking Nezuko, Tanjiro almost got a hit on this swordman, of this, well, as an audience are expected to believe that it's a skilled swordman.
Mm-hmm. Right. You know? So Giyu, which we're going to find like way, way later on, like episode like 20, he's what's called a Hashira, which is the top tier of demon slayers. Mm-hmm. And
we find out about demon slayers here.
Yeah, right here. Because he wears a katana on his hip. And he's just like, I'm from the Demon Slayer Corps. I've got to kill that fucking demon. That's my job.
Yeah, he's basically
not sorry. Like, hey, let me do my fucking job. I have to kill that fucking demon.
Your sister's a demon. I got to body her. It's just what I got to do.
And here, dude, like you know how we were talking about how in My Hero Academia, like, they capitalize the shit out of superheroes, and I fucking hate that because now it's like an organization of the government. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But here in Demon Slayer, like, the authority level almost seems like ninjas or superheroes. I don't know, something.
Absolutely. Well, actual ninjas are introduced at one point in Demon Slayer, but I see exactly what you mean, because like they're working without, like, outside of the government. The very last like 5 minutes of Demon Slayer, they literally talk about like the Demon Slayer Corps is not recognized by the government, so we need to watch how we're walking around when we're walking around with like swords and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the average person doesn't walk around with a fucking sword on their head.
Yeah, especially in Japan. I mean, no guns whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the big scene where Giyu is like, yeah, I'm just gonna kill the demon, and Tanjiro like lunges at him, but he has a hatchet in hand. We have this cool scene where they're trying to set up that like Tanjiro's gifted, like he's smart and he's probably a pretty good fighter.
Quick on his feet.
And again, I bring up My Hero Academia Midoriya. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's almost the same character, but it's not.
And that's what I like.
Less crying.
That's what I like about Miss Gotoge, is that like she has said in interviews before, like she gives props to literally every mangaka for shonen that's ever come before her. Mm-hmm. She's like, I fucking love the shit out of Oda. What are you talking about? I literally write shonen. Like, I wouldn't be doing this without Oda. I love the guy that writes Bleach. I love the guy that writes My Hero Academia. Like, she just loves the genre and the medium as a whole.
And she means it too, because as you read further on, you'll see a lot of elements from other mangas in her writing.
Which is so perfect. Like, it's so comfortable watching Demon Slayer. And that's what I was bringing up, how you were comparing Midoriya and Tanjiro, because she's acknowledged that. She's like, duh, what if I'm writing a manga in 2018, 2019, you're trying to tell me that I'm not going to take anything from My Hero Academia? It would be stupid if I didn't.
At this point in time, it's like, how can you not write a manga without taking elements from other places? You know what I mean?
And by the way, watch the sub.
Yeah, the dub is really bad.
The dub is bad as fuck.
Absolute dog shit. So
I hadn't listened to the dub until I got here.
Right. Well, so I watched the dub this whole week because I've watched the sub like multiple times. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like before the dub even came out, I must have seen this dub like 3-4 times, right? So this week I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be the proper podcast host that researches everything, and I'm gonna watch the fucking dub this week. Dog shit. Absolute dog shit. And what I always talk about on this podcast is that like dubs within the past like 5 years have gotten really good, right?
Yeah, they actually have.
So it's absolutely wild that like the Demon Slayer dub is as bad as it is.
Yeah,
all the money went into the animation.
For real. Like what's there like the animation's so perfect, like we don't even need to.
Yeah, they're like, who cares if the dub sucks, bro? They're gonna watch visually anyway, so who gives a fuck?
And don't get me wrong, a lot of like probably the last 30 episodes we've done for this podcast, I watch it in dub. You know why? Because I need to understand, and I don't have time to be reading. You know? Like, I need to do other shit and watch and, like, you know, take care of my baby and stuff. But when it comes to this one, knowing the story already from watching it multiple times, I just put it on sub, not even thinking about the dub. But right now, when I walked in here and we put on the fucking dub, it sounds terrible. Like, the crow sounds like
I hate
Maggie or whatever the fuck.
Miggy from Parasite.
Yeah.
The only voice that makes sense is probably out of the main cast is probably like Zenitsu.
Yeah.
Because he like it's so apparently it's just easy to do a whiny bitch in like American English and Japanese.
I've never heard the dub.
But Tanjiro sounds bad. Like they literally did a typecast for generic shonen voice actor.
Oh,
and that's what they picked on Tanjiro. And the thing about Tanjiro, like what Aldo was talking about when he came through, is like in the sub, Demon Slayer is a timepiece, right? Mm. So it's supposed to be like early 20th century, maybe late 19th century, like Japan, right? So like people have these very specific accents in the sub.
Like the Edo period, wasn't it?
Right, which is late 19th century, right?
I believe so.
So it
not even accent, like the tone of it.
The tone of it, and you can just tell like the diction. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's not hyper casual like modern.
Like
sounds.
If you watch like K-On! Sub, which I did, the first season that we watched, but like it sounds sort of different. Like they're speaking like modernly, as to where in Demon Slayer is like, oh, they're speaking from somewhere not so chaotic as like 2022.
and the dub didn't even try. Yeah. The dub was just like they're just speaking English.
Yeah. Nothing, dude.
So, and it's not only that, like, Tanjiro just has the most generic fucking voice. The one that makes me the most mad is that we'll talk about when he's introduced, but there's this guy named Inosuke who, like, is written into the manga for having a voice so deep, it's a fucking meme. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and in the dub, they're just like, scratchy American voice. What do you mean? That means deep, right? Just typical American guy with a scratchy voice? That's deep. And it's not. It's just somebody with a slightly scratchy voice, and it's so fucking batshit crazy. and oh god, like we were talking about the studio here, UFO Table. UFO Table doesn't have the most distinguished pedigree, so like they fucking got lucky with Demon Slayer that they were able to pick it up. But they famously did the Fate Zero series, which I didn't realize until CJ showed up, and the Fate series. Famously, like at its peak in like 2012 through like 2016, was famously doing the 3D or the CGI animation graphics like fire and energy blast over the 2D modeling before that was even like a thing. which that's what Demon Slayer does best. Because Demon Slayer is like mostly 2D, but like when Tanjiro in the background is like fumbling about and super like trying to dodge, you can barely tell that it's 3D modeling, but they'll try to like pan it over like a 2D surface. So they're trying not to show it to you. And the best pieces of animation, which are like fire or water dragons or like this other crazy shit, they'll do it in 3D modeling, but mostly the color, not the actual shape itself.
Yeah, I can't remember what the art style is called. Fuck, it's on the tip of my tongue. But it's the same art style as like Zelda Wind Waker is.
Yeah.
So they do add a CGI, but they're letting you know that this is a fantastical thing. You don't have to make it real. You don't have to make a mockery of what realism. Because have you heard like of the Uncanny Valley, where something looks super close to what it is, but it doesn't look right?
Like you should never do CGI in film, like Hollywood film, for people. Because of the Uncanny Valley, because people passively can always just tell what normal human motion looks like, right?
Yeah.
And
it's the imperfections that make it look human, but when you try to make this quote-unquote perfect version of what a human should look like, it just seems weird to you.
It seems unnatural.
And that's what throws people off. And the Fate series always did that amazingly, where they're like, character modeling, supreme, like 2D animation. You want to see big fucking energy blast go boom? We'll give it to you in CGI, and you're gonna fucking love it because the character palette's like stupendous.
And unlike fucking Godzilla, what was that stupid fucking thing that we watched?
Singular Point.
Singular Point Godzilla. If you're making an animation of fucking, what is it, kanjis?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Kaijus,
not kanji. Kanji is kaijus. Don't use your CGI to do what the animation is about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you use 100% of the time 3D modeling on your monsters?
Yeah.
Use it for blast, use it for water, use it for smoke, use it for whatever, but they just fucked up with the whole thing.
But, like we're talking about, watch the sub for Demon Slayer. It's fine. And the animation though in Demon Slayer is probably the best animated anime since like season 1 of Attack on Titan, I guess. And like Attack on Titan, I've been hypercritical of their animation changes because they switched studios for the final season. Demon Slayer is probably the best animated thing out right now, besides maybe My Hero Academia.
And another reason to call Ms. Gotoki the GOAT, I mean, she doesn't think of herself as a very good artist, and we know this because we love her artwork in the manga. Like the reaction pictures and the comical side of what Demon Slayer is stupid funny.
She like embraces sometimes that she's not the most technical artist, and I love that because it shows expression in the character models. Like
I love that Aldo said that because. Oh yeah, like I was saying, like in the downtime of stuff like that, when they have like the funny moments and the goofy ass faces, dude, I love that shit. That shit's so fucking funny, man. Like I know what Aldo means by that because it's like hell yeah, dude, those little goofy little moments.
Because in the manga, she will purposely draw a character expression like a 5-year-old drew it.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
And like that's what because when I watched season 1 of Demon Slayer was before I read the manga, right? So after reading the manga and going back to Demon Slayer season 1, like it's like I didn't even notice that the anime draws in the badly drawn expressions from the manga.
I love that they do that. It's oh my god, that shit was so funny.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I'm just like, wow, I remember that. Like
all the goofy moments, all the hilarious little shenanigans.
It's like One Piece like that.
Yeah, exactly. I love all the goofy little moments.
Fart jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like, they'll just draw down like dumb expressions.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing.
And it's funny because the goofy expressions are like, sometimes they're in serious moments. And it's just like, dude, that adds even more to the funniness.
But anyways, from what I was reading, apparently she cried when she first saw like the last villain for like the first arc.
Right, for season 1, like the fight that happens in like episode 19.
Oh yeah, she cried in the
which I'm so happy for her because I remember reading the chapters week to week and her just being so sad, like being like, guys, I am so fucking stressed. I haven't eaten, I haven't slept, and I'm just trying to write this fucking thing so that it comes out on time. And I'm glad y'all are enjoying it. That's the only thing that makes it worth it. If this thing wasn't as insanely popular as it is right now, it would have ended forever ago. Because I literally can't keep up the schedule.
I wish somebody would tell me they love Between Nerds.
Yeah, that'd be really nice too. And I've never gotten that feeling from Oda. You know what I mean? Like, because One Piece has been going on for 25 years with the same fucking schedule, week to week. Like every fourth week is off, and I've never heard him. I've never felt worried for Oda, which I think says a lot, because the entire time, like, Demon Slayer was being written, everyone was worried for Gotoge.
Yeah.
He keeps low key.
Oda?
He keeps a low key, yeah.
Well, just recently in Jump Fest, Oda said he was feeling a little sick, but I mean, he's reaching. I want to say he's like in his 40s now, so he's getting up there in age. But Oda, if for whatever reason you're listening to this, which I mean that would be fucking amazing, but I wish you best, man. I hope you take care of yourself.
Like, I can just imagine Miyazaki just listening to this, like, in a room.
Just all these bums not working hard enough. He seems like such a hard ass.
Miyazaki? Dude,
Yeah.
he's a hard ass on his kid, bro. I was reading apparently that his son wrote something and made a movie, and then he watched it and he was like, you should not
Give
keep
up.
doing this.
That's so mean. That's so mean. What an asshole.
I know,
That's
Remember the bad movie we watched in the Miyazaki hub in HBO Max? The Witch something, the Rockstar 3D modeling one?
Oh, yeah.
That was co-produced by his son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, that's something that
Yeah.
rest in peace Kobe Bryant would say. That's the mama mentality, bro.
Yeah,
You
it kind of
you need
is.
that motivation. You need somebody to tell you that you
All
suck.
my
can
telling you, you're
fucking-
not gonna be a hero because you're cartless, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, exactly.
But, like, even Kobe Bryant knew to be nice to his fucking kids. Like,
I mean, no, I bet
Kobe
you,
Bryant loved his daughters.
No, but have you seen the video? There's been workout videos with him and his daughter. Yeah, he's been like, come on, sometimes you need that push.
Do you remember
in order
the
to get
Jordan
to go away.
documentary from 2020?
Yes.
That sounds like something Jordan would have said.
Benched. He got benched in college, like, all the time.
But, like, he talks shit to everybody nonstop in the NBA. Like, somebody would miss, like, a free throw shot and be
Hey,
like,
but
Coach, we gotta fire him. We gotta trade that. We gotta trade this nerd tomorrow.
If words are enough to make you fucking give up, then you're
Dude,
pretty
a
soft, bro.
highly competitive personality with, like, just wanting to win, dude, it's just crazy.
You just
and
gotta need that.
I also heard that apparently he would bet on things like with a team flying. Like, I bet you I'm gonna be the first one to get my bag, like, at the airport.
I can believe it. Yeah, I believe
He
it.
would, and he'd make up vendettas,
Well, he was a
like,
gambling addict.
within games too. Like, somebody didn't shake his hand from the Detroit team, and he'd be like, all right, now I gotta fuck you up all game. Look at, like,
Isaiah Thomas? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Now I gotta fuck you up. Like, did you see what you did?
And we wouldn't have Michael Jordans if it weren't for those type of personalities.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, do you want to see more Michael Jordans? We need those personalities.
We need killers, bro. We need that killer
I like
instinct.
LeBron, and he seems like a very nice man.
Yeah, man, that's one thing that pisses me off.
He
He's
built a
never
school in
any
Ohio.
He's never in any drama ever.
scandal. Yeah.
His only drama ever is
Like
that,
his
like,
hairline.
his hairline. The only drama is, like, he's slightly political, but it's like, duh, like,
Yeah,
political
of
stuff. It's
course
like
he is.
he supports BLM. Oh my god, ban the NBA. Blah 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 blah.
supports
If you're
China.
a
Oh
good
my God.
person, you understand what BLM is about.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey guys, we should be a little less racist all of the time. Don't be
a black
political.
person.
Me, the most high-profile black person in the world, please be nice.
Jesus fucking Christ. But anyways,
What are we talking about?
Demon Slayer, man.
We're talking about Demon Slayer. Episode 2, Demon Slayer.
Yes.
So, Tanjiro, Gyu tries to slay Nezuko the demon, Tanjiro's sister, and Tanjiro's like, look, she's a nice person, she hasn't murdered anybody yet, you can't be doing this shit, like, it's not fair. And Gyu, seeing Nezuko stand up for Tanjiro and both Tanjiro stand up for Nezuko, is like, okay, Whatever, fine.
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. Like, I've never seen a demon stand up for a person.
As soon as she slips, I'm gonna be there too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut her head off.
Yeah.
And, but Tanjiro doing that quick-witted thing where, like, he threw the hatchet into the air while lunging at Gyu. Gyu's like, that was kind of smart, actually. He might actually be a good fighter. So, Gyu
tells him to go to the waterfall and meet with, what's his name, Uradaka? Mm-hmm. The man with the
devil mask.
Mask, yeah.
Devil mask.
Yeah. I forgot what the type of kind of mask it is.
It is a devil mask. It's crazy. Even Apple has even Apple emojis has like.
Yeah, when you see
mask.
like that demon mask face, it's like red. It's got this long nose. Mm-hmm. It's a demon, right?
Shout out Usopp.
Well, Uraraki is a former Hashira, so he's in the same level as Gyu. You know what I mean? Like, he's the one that that taught Gyu everything he knows. So, Gyu being like, yo, this guy seems like a potential candidate. Like, I'll send you to my master. And that's where we get, like, the first, like, scary bit about demons is episode 2 is Nezuko and Tanjiro are trying to walk to the mountaintop where Iroraki lives, right? And they meet. They go to this top of the shrine to spend the night, just on their long travel over there. So, and they get there, and Tanjiro has a very innate sense of smell. Mm-hmm. Like, what makes him a prodigy is just his sense of smell. Because we meet other characters who have great, like, sense of hearing, great sense of sight. And Tanjiro can smell demons.
He can even smell your emotions.
Yeah, he'll be like, you smell a little upset right now, are you?
You smell a little scared. Maybe that's the urine, but...
We're stuck, because as he encounters this first demon... Like, we realize...
There's demons in the shrine.
Yes. There's demons in the shrine. And there's this fucking low-level fucking demon that attacks Tanjiro. And Tanjiro, for some reason, knows that she can't be in the sunlight.
Right.
And he makes, like, a little basket, because that's, like, the whole...
Well, Gyu told him. Gyu was like, if you want to protect your sister, just keep her out of the sunlight and keep her away from people.
Mm-hmm. And he makes, like, a basket to carry as a backpack to put her in. He gets fucking attacked by this demon, and she comes out
of the backpack.
Well, like,
it was a basket at the time, right?
When the sunrise is down already, like, when it's nighttime already, and she fucking pulls out and she fucking kicks this fool's head off his body, which looks fucking good because it has like this Matrix kind of look to it, where like the camera is following the motion of the leg, so like the leg cocks back and like hits the fucking neck, and it just looks fucking so fucking crazy.
How hard do you have to kick somebody to decapitate them? Jesus Christ.
Probably not that hard, but yes, pretty hard.
It's never happened in the UFC.
Not humanly possible though, but it's not that much
for a demon.
Not for a demon, yeah. For a demon, that's probably fake.
And it's even more wild because Tanjiro's like, oh shit, she did it. She killed the demon. And this guy's head starts talking shit on its own. He spouts out little arms and he's just like, hey, little pussy, why are you traveling with a demon? Hey, demon, why the fuck did you just try to kill me?
Why are you traveling with a human?
And the body's like moving on its own and it's trying to murder Tanjiro, and then the head's trying to murder Tanjiro, and it's like this whole fucking thing.
He traps him like...
And Tanjiro's still such a good fucking person. He's like, I can't kill you. I can't do it.
He cries, drink a shot, take a shot.
It's like the Midoriya thing all over again. But what ends up happening is Tanjiro catches him on a tree with a hatchet. Like, he throws a hatchet at the head. The hatchet, like, with the handle...
stuck to a tree.
Yeah, it gets the head, the demon's head, like, stuck to the tree, and the demon, like, can't even push itself off. He's like, hey, you little asshole, how'd you even throw it that strong? Like,
and then he starts freaking out, because, like, apparently this fight has taken, like, 4 hours to where, like, sunrise pops up, and he's like, hold on, bro, it's like, you gotta get me out of here,
the sun's coming out,
yeah, and then he fucking burns out, so we know there's this blade vampire thing to them, too.
Well, right before then, even... That's when Uraraki first introduces himself, because he shows up to the shrine, and the head's talking shit. It's caught on the tree between the hatchet, and he's
who Uraraki?
Uraraki, the former water Hashira.
Urokadaki.
Oh, there's a K.
Urokodaki. Okay, there you go.
Urokodaki.
Urokodaki.
He tells Tanjiro, like, hey, that demon's still
kill
alive.
it.
It's gonna kill you. It's like, I was raised by a Republican. So I used to go hunting a lot, right?
Did you hear the disappointment?
I'm Drew. And I was raised with a Republican.
My stepdad's from Kentucky, and I went hunting a lot when I was a child. Like I know how to fish. I'm a fairly good dove hunter. And
Fishing is really good.
And the thing about dove hunting was always like you're shooting with a shotgun. Like these pellets might not kill the bird. You need to be prepared as the hunter, as the person that mortally wounded this animal, to put it out of its misery. So like when I'm like 10 years old, I was being trained how to like rip the heads off a fucking bird. So it was always like, Dad, I don't want to do it. Like this bird's bleeding, it's suffering. It's just like, if it's suffering, then put it out of its misery and rip its fucking head off. Like stop being a bitch and rip its head off. And this is how Urokodaki is being right here. He's like, that demon is still alive and it's gonna murder you, your sister, and me if you don't put it out of its misery. And Tanjiro's just like, but it's alive. It's a human being. I can't do it. I know
has feelings.
Yeah, exactly. It's a demon, but I know it has feelings. I really can't put it out of its misery. And that's when the sun comes up. Because, like, Tanjiro has, like, so much hesitation, he never does it. And then the sun comes up and the thing burns away.
And is it at this point where he starts he starts smelling the empathy that was left behind in demons?
Yeah.
You know? Because, I mean, the demons at one point were just regular people.
Yeah.
They were just trying, day by day through the 9 to 5, thing. And they just got turned into a demon and now they gotta murder kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
which is what makes it worse because, like, it's very... in season 1, there's only, like... 1 or 2 demons that they meet that like are very content with killing humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty much every other demon is like
kind of forced to do it.
Yeah, has an empathetic like story behind it. It's just like I didn't want to be a demon, but
it's like gun owners, kind of.
I don't know. The thing I find really strange about gun owners is like if you talk to like gun enthusiasts a lot of the time. Again, like I was raised around guns. Like, do not get me wrong. Like,
of course,
but like a lot of gun owners have like this like. This daydream about defending themselves with a gun, and you hear it all the time. It's just, I can't wait for somebody to try to break into my house. I would love for somebody to break into my house so that I can shoot them in the fucking face.
I feel like Bakugo's like that.
Kind of. He's like, I wish you would fuck with me, bro, so I can blow you the fuck up. And, like, you hear this from gun enthusiasts all the time. Oh, I hope somebody breaks into my house. I have a gun hoping somebody breaks into my house because I can't wait to shoot somebody in the fucking face. And it's such, like, the anti-empath kind of thing. It's still a person, you fucking dick. Like, do not get me wrong. Like, I'm totally gonna blast somebody's head off. They try to break into my house. Yeah. But, like, I don't get off. Yeah, like, hoping somebody, tries to break into my house.
That's like the last
somebody step up to me. It's like that. Oh, God. So I went to high school with the Wood Boys, right? For anybody listening, I went to Montwood High School in El Paso, Texas. And we had a air quotes party crew that was just our football team, who was famously all on steroids. That looked forward to getting into fights on the weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're all juiced out of their fucking mind and just
where's your motherfucker wood?
Bro, it got so bad that motherfuckers would not, and they would go out being like,
nobody will go to their parties. It was just them.
But then they started going to other people's parties and be like, I hate one person here. Yes. I came to jump you in your own fucking house. I'm stealing your stereo and I'm leaving.
God damn.
Wood Boys what?
God, thank God I didn't go to fucking Montwood, even though I lived in the area.
No, I mean, the parties were cool, don't get me wrong, but there were always some shit starting up for no fucking reason.
For no reason. Just daydreaming all week of, oh, I hope somebody tries to fuck with me Friday night. Oh, I can't wait to fucking just like put somebody in the hospital Friday night.
God damn, crazy shit.
So
So yeah, just kill your fucking sister, kill the fucking demon or not, but he fucking dies with the sunlight. But then Tanjiro, we start to find out that he has like a smell to how evil this demon is. Mm-hmm. You know, like,
well, it's also the sense of like the scent of blood and like humans. So like. Tanjiro can smell human blood, and he can smell like strength of demons because demons are proportionally stronger the more people they eat. which is another thing about Muzan's blood, because the more of Muzan's blood you have...
The power level is really crazy.
Right, the more capacity you have to eat more people. Cause
if your body can take it.
Yeah, we meet demons later on that are like, I can't take any more of Muzan's blood, I can't eat any more people, it's just too fucking much for me. And those, they hit their ceiling, you know what I mean? Like, Muzan's done with them.
They're capped.
And that's when Tanjiro goes after Urokodaki and is just like, hey, I met you, he told me to hit you up, blah, 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 blah. And Urokodaki, seeing like the kind of demon that Nezuko is like, there's something really going on with these siblings. Like, she's a demon, but she's not acting like a demon. This boy is being an empath to a demon. What the fuck is going on?
And then her being like first gen fucking Muzan blood, she should be even more entitled to be more.
But they didn't know that at the time.
Evil. Yeah.
No, yeah, but like you.
Well, we know as
contrast.
an audience, yeah.
As an audience, you can tell the contrast between like, oh shit, she is really connected to his blood. He should be fucking this little kid up, but she's not. So that's like, it puts contrast in the relationship between them.
Absolutely. So then, the next couple of episodes are basically a training arc time skip, and Tanjiro trains in the mountains for 2 fucking years with Urokodaki. 2 whole years. And that whole time, like, Nezuko got, like, scratched and beat up by that other demon. Since
she was put in the
deep
coma.
sleep.
Yeah, in the deep sleep, because Urokodaki was basically hypnotizing her so she would... It was basically kind of like influencing her in her sleep so that she would not attack humans and basically visualize humans as friendly and her family.
Think as everybody as your own family. Think as everybody as your own family.
And
maybe that was a mantra that he was saying, but he was doing that along the time that she was in the coma.
And basically hypnotizing her so that when she slept,
it's like
how she basically like ate.
Well, she was sleeping nonstop for 2 years because she got scratched up, and a normal demon would like
just eat a body.
Yeah, would be able to use like human calories and just like heal itself instantly,
like a Red Bull.
Like, because we can see certain demons like later on where they'll cut off their arm and they'll just like regenerate it instantly. Nezuko, not eating humans,
has a deterrent.
Yeah, cannot like regenerate like that. So she has to physically like sleep for months or years at a time to be able to regenerate. And so the whole time Tanjiro's getting his fucking ass beat on the mountain, Nezuko is receiving the
hypnotic treatment,
the hypnotic influence through
Urokodaki.
Urokodaki. and when she comes out of the coma, is Tanjiro finishes his training with Urokodaki.
And the training was really good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to get down the mountain.
Right. Urokodaki would put Tanjiro at the top of the mountain, tell him, hey, you have to sprint to the bottom. But he would set up a bunch of traps, like giant logs on ropes or like pitfalls and
just dumb shit, honestly, bro. Like lugs like hitting each other, kind of medieval style, like all this fucking crazy shit.
Hey,
and
but if those logs were to hit,
he got hit a couple of times. I believe by some swinging trunks.
He broke bones all the time.
Mm-hmm. And then you start seeing this like montage development to Tanjiro, just like in My Hero Academia and the beach cleaning scenes. Like he starts growing, even he gets calluses on the animation on his hands, and it's just so fire to see something like that.
Yeah, the attention to detail is like the best part of the Demon Slayer like anime.
One thing that really made me like the animation was the scene where Tanjiro and Urokodaki are at the waterfall, and you see the animation of the actual waterfall. Oh, that specific scene instantly made me like, yo, this is top tier anime, like.
Exactly,
sure.
It's one of those things that's hyper technical. The more you think about it,
man, that shit looked real as fuck. I thought it was an actual waterfall with just anime characters there. I thought it was insane.
And even like backdrops, like sunsets and shit like that. You guys just missed it. But the contrast or the forced perspective on Tanjiro with a fucking sundown or sunrise in the back, it looks fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out UFO Table, because that's fucking crazy.
They honestly, I think they knew they got lucky getting the rights to animate this, and then I'm glad they didn't. Drop the bag.
They went balls to the wall in this shit, because I'm pretty sure they knew, like, yo, we're gonna bank on this.
I never put my balls to the wall, but that sounds exciting.
Hey, you're missing out. But the reason why Tanjiro is also kind of broken is the smelling thing that we were talking about, because like he can smell the traps that Urokodaki will set up. He'll be like, that log smells like a human. I know that's a trap. That piece of ground smells like a human. I know that's a pitfall. And the more he trains it, like the better he gets at like evading traps and stuff. So then we finish the 2 years, and Tanjiro is now ready for final selection. But before that, Mr. Horokodaki tells him you have one more test. He takes him to this open field where there's this giant fucking boulder. Mm-hmm. Like, it's what, like 12 by 12 by 12?
It's a stupid boulder, bro.
Yeah,
it hasn't moved in billions of years.
It's ginormous. And he's like, unless you cut this boulder
with your sword without breaking,
you're not going to final section.
Yeah.
And you just wasted 2 fucking years.
Yeah. So he's just there, like, swinging like 50 swords at it, breaking and shit. But he's going at this so hard in this fantastical world of what Demon Slayer is. I mean, like, he's been 2 years. Like, his hair's grown out. And he's... I don't know. To me, it's like this exhaustion, hallucinations to what is going on with the rock. Because he's really trying to cut this rock.
Yeah.
Just like Midoriya really tried to clean that beach.
Right.
But he starts seeing 2 little kids with animal masks in the forest.
He thinks they're actual people.
Yes.
Because he sees one with like a little fox mask, and it's a red-haired, like orange-haired guy with like with this giant scar on his forehead. And this kid's like, you're never gonna be able to cut the rock like that. Like, why are you even trying? You're never gonna be able to cut the rock like that. And then they like spar. Tanjiro gets like his ass kicked, and he's like, "See what I mean?"
By a ghost,
by a wooden sword too.
They don't know it's a ghost yet.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, he's carrying a wooden sword too. That's the important point. And then there's this little girl being like, "You're never gonna be able to beat him like that."
Like, he's so good. He used a regular sword because he knows he's not gonna hurt him.
A training sword, yeah. He's like, "You're not gonna touch me, bro. I know you're not."
So, Tanjiro ends up training at the boulder with this kid with the orange hair and the fox mask.
What was his name? Obito,
I believe.
And there's like this whole like dialogue piece of like, if you keep thinking that the end of your sword is at the edge, like, it's not. It's like you have to follow through with like a you know,
like your shot, like
emotionally follow through with your swing.
That's where they first start introducing the thread. Like there's a physical, well, no, it's a metaphorical interpretation of somebody's opening.
It's basically their lifeline.
How your mind is connected to your sword.
I call it their lifeline, like their literal lifeline.
Well, he sees it with the boulder though, because Tanjiro will, in fights from here on out, he'll start seeing openings or an opportunity to the lifeline through a physical thread. He'll be like, I see the thread from the tip of my sword to wherever on their body, and that signifies like an opening. It's a metaphor, but in this fight with this red-haired ghost guy, Tanjiro sees like, oh, I see the opening, I see the thread. I'm swinging right there. I'm going to start using my my water form techniques to see that opening. And Tanjiro swings, and it's right then that he cuts the boulder. And that's when we start getting the sense that like these ghosts weren't really there. They're spirits that were held behind
by the forest.
But I was gonna say more of what's his name? Urokadaki's like his guilt almost.
Yes. Yeah. Very good point. Yeah, very good fucking point that you're bringing, because these ghosts, when he cuts the boulder, they go away, and he's like, where did these kids go? He doesn't even know that it was a hallucination. Mm-hmm. And when he's walking down the mountain back to our
Urokodaki.
Urokodaki, he walks back to him. Is like, oh, there was this two boys, two brother and sister that were helping me out and talking shit to me, guys. Like, what the fuck? And then, the senpai here, Urokodaki, he's like, he didn't know. I don't even think he even tells him, but we have like a flashback thing of like him recognizing them as her past Padawans, her past trainees.
They weren't even brother and sister.
Oh no!
Urokodaki used to exclusively take orphans.
Mm.
So once you find that out, it means more about like the history of Gyu too, because Gyu like is the water. What's his name? Hashida. And him being trained by Urokodaki means that like Gyu's an orphan too.
Yeah.
And all these people are basically like funneled into this guy because they have a history with demons. Yeah. Well, it's not only that they're orphans, but they have a history with demons.
Like the Robins to the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's just like Batman killed the people that killed my parents, and now I have to follow Batman. Mm. It's that exact thing. It's like Urokodaki is this famous demon slayer, and my parents were killed by demons, so now I needed to learn how to kill demons from Urokodaki.
Yes, sir.
So Urokodaki was very, very hesitant sending Tanjiro to final selection to be a demon slayer because of he's lost people before. He's lost previous Padawans. He's lost previous apprentices who were the people like in the Fox mask that like were trying to help
either Eden or turn demon and shit.
Right. So like Urokodaki is very cynical. He's like, I've lost a lot of people. I've sent multiple people to their death because all they wanted to do was help the cause and become demon slayers. And so, that, which is why he's hardest on Tanjiro.
Yeah, and with that, like we put a pinpoint to another point later on in the story. But yeah, keep going.
Sorry, I had a bite of pizza.
It's okay.
So they go to final selection, and the whole point of final selection for the Demon Slayer Corps is they're going to send the kids out into a forest that is barriered by a certain flower that demons are like allergic to and stay away from.
Mm-hmm. Wisteria.
The wisteria flower.
Oh shit.
So they have made like an arena, like a playground for demons. And it's up for the people up for selection to survive. What is it, like 48 hours?
No, I think it was actually like a week, wasn't it? It was like 7
was something
days.
dumb.
It was like a long time.
They have to survive a whole week in this forest full of demons.
No food, no anything.
Just on their own. I
know just demons and vibes.
Yeah,
like.
Just demons and vibes. Bro.
Hey, that's how I live every weekend, bro.
I believe it was their goal was to make it to like basically how Tanjiro's training was like down the mountain. And they just had to make it to somewhere. But I think it was like it should take them more or less about a week.
So really early on, what ends up happening is Tanjiro is faced with probably the biggest demon in this whole forest. And it's this what we start learning is that there's 2 power scaling attempts for demons. Like one is the more blood you have directly from Muzan, the more powerful you are. Which directly relates to your capacity to eat people, and the more people you eat, the stronger you are. And that's what we start learning a lot more with Tanjiro's sense of smell. It's just like, oh my shit, I can smell that he's eaten a bunch of fucking people. This is the strongest fuck demon.
I bet that's a horrid smell.
Oh, it's terrible.
It must be.
Yeah, he like they describe it even in the anime as being horrid. Like
they have dialogue pieces describing how disgusted he is about the smell.
Like it's a putrid smell. It must smell like an actual like dead
corpse. Yeah.
Because like it smells evil in here.
And that's I love the character modeling for most of the demons here because like this demon in the final selection is this demon who has like multiple arms and he's fat as fuck and
it's like gluttony, 7 deadly sins kind of thing.
Right, because the weak point for a demon is you have to cut their head off, right? Because they can regenerate, like we were talking about. And so you have to cut off their head. And this demon has these giant fucking fat-ass arms, like, wrapped around his big fat-ass neck. And that's how he's protecting himself from getting his head cut off. And
he's fat. Like TLC fat.
Like, he must be, like, no cap, he looks like he's, like, 800 pounds or some shit. You know what I mean?
Ridiculous. Like, he is enormous.
So, right away, Udo Kadaki gave Tanjiro another warding mask, like the fox mask that he saw for the dead ex-students of Udo Kadaki. And he's like, this is a warding mask. It's probably made of wisteria flowers.
It's like a charm.
Yeah, it's like a charm, and it'll ward off demons from you. But this demon points out Tanjiro's mask and is like, hey, that means you're a student of Udo Kadaki. That means...
That's not even the dialogue. The dialogue here, the fat-ass demon monster who has been eating kids because for some reason this is the exam to even get considered to be a demon slayer.
So they're just out here killing people.
Yeah, they're just out there sending people to their death. But the monster is like, I see Udo Kadaki has sent another fucking kid to die.
Yeah.
And shit like that. And you're like, what?
And that's when he even asked, too. The monster even asked. He's just like, wait a minute, what period is this? And that's when he tells him, he's like, it's the Edo period. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like,
I'm in a whole different period?
Long? Yeah, he's like, I've been here that fucking long? What the hell?
Fucking crazy.
Nuts.
So... and part of the dialogue there, too, is like, after the lapse of time or whatever, he's like... So, that's supposed to be a warding mask to help, like, keep demons away from you. I was able to point you out because of that mask. And now you're gonna fucking die. So, this fat-ass demon starts going at Tanjiro, being like, just like, now you have to die. Like, the person that imprisoned me in here is the person training you, and now you have to fucking die.
And I might eat you like I ate
all the other people
before you.
This starts setting up the it's like a writing trope, kind of, in Demon Slayer, where... these are demons. They're supposed to be entirely super non-empathetic characters, right? Mm-hmm. But Tanjiro being the only person in the world that's empathetic to demons, us as the audience, they start writing in the empath stories for the demons. It's like, who was he as a person? What led him to being here? Like, maybe he was not entirely a bad person, but then he met a demon that infected him, and now he's a descendant of Muzan. And this is where it starts. Tanjiro is just like, I can smell the fear on you.
And by the way, this fat-ass fucking demon, like, he smelled fucking gross.
We're talking about empathy, and, like, we keep describing him as this nasty fat as fuck.
It's because gluttony.
This gluttonous piece of shit.
Yeah, and he's just eating kids for delight. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And just to see this guy, like, before he even encounters him, Tanjiro's like, he stops, he even stops walking, covers his face. He's like, this shit smells fucking disgusting.
This shit's foul as fuck. Yeah. So, every demon fight is like this. Is where we'll get like a backdrop or a side flashback about like whoever the demon was as a person and what led them to be here, and like we're supposed to feel empathy for them, and then Tanjiro cuts their fucking head off. Right? So that's exactly what happens here, because like we get this backdrop on the scene on this demon and who he was as a person, but then he's talking shit and he's just like, yeah, do you know how many people I've fucking killed that are descendants of Udo Kadaki? Like, I killed that boy with the orange hair, I killed that little girl with the fox mask. And that's when Tanjiro grows the balls and is just like, oh, you really are an asshole, Mr. Demon. Like, you killed people that I probably look up to. Now I do have to kill you. And that's every demon fight. Till the end of the Demon Slayer manga, literally every fight is like that. Like, spoiler, no spoiler. Like, the final boss is Muzan, right? So, in the Demon Slayer manga, it's literally like the last 5 chapters are a flashback on Muzan and what led him to being here. That's every fight in Demon Slayer.
And from what I see here, again, talking from the point of view of our creator here, Ms. Gotage. Gotoge.
What, do I need to pronounce this?
Yes, please.
It's her name is Koyoharu Gotoge.
There you go. Ms. Gotore is like
Gotoge.
There you go.
Yeah,
you got it. Yeah.
It's that it has become a trope in Demon Slayer, but Demon Slayer is a villain origin story.
Yes. Like, that's some meta commentary right there.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, that's some great meta commentary.
Thank you, because if we have learned anything about what she decides to do off demon slaying time to like regular mundane things is that she goes into detail in both. And when it comes to like the demons, to give the demons those extra 2 minutes of like either reading material or anime minutes, you know, it's fun. It's fun to the story. It doesn't take away from the story. It adds to the story in every way. And like, just like the Joker movie, it makes you feel bad for the villain.
It gives you an understanding of why Tanjiro feels the way that he feels right before he's about to like
they're
I'm
teaching
about to murder
max level empathy here.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
I will definitely make my kid watch this.
And I think that's so funny because we're spending this whole time what's like in anime in episode like a 3-minute interaction. Because before you showed up, CJ, me and Aldo were talking about pacing in this. And, I told you, like, my favorite part of Demon Slayer is the pacing.
Yeah.
Because when it's in motion, it's fucking in motion. Yes. Like, it's fucking, like ankle breaking how quickly it's moving. And then, but when it doesn't
ankle breaking.
When it's not in motion, it will fucking go at a snail's pace. And you're not even mad at the time.
Yes.
Because this fight here is half an episode. It's like the first half of like episode 5, episode 4 or some shit. But we get like an episode and a half of exposition around it. And it again stays exactly like that, and that's exactly how the manga reads. Like when I'm joking that the final fight is Muzan, it's one chapter. We get 5 episodes of a fucking backstory about Muzan.
But then again, if you compare it to something like the fight sagas in Dragon Ball, like, dude, really?
That's different.
It is.
That's different because the manga's not like that.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, the manga's already short, 205 chapters. The manga, it is short, but like. We've seen something longer, for example, like the comic run of like The Walking Dead. Right. That shit moves quickly. That shit is so quick. They like elongated it so much, like in the series, just to get money. You know what I'm saying? Yep, but here in Demon Slayer, like the pacing,
it's to the point.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
It's so good though, because like by the end of season 1, like the final fight's episode 19. You get 7 episodes after that about like a training arc. Any other anime would have saved the final fight for episode 26, right?
Yes.
Demon Slayer is like the only one like recent history that is willing to take that risk, because it's like we know that we have you hooked.
And I'm sorry, a small point that I forgot. And that's why I think of like Dragon Ball Z. It's almost like stretching their money to how many episodes they can make before they actually give you a climax.
Well, honestly, that's when I was thinking earlier before y'all showed up, and I'm thinking about like what makes Demon Slayer different from like One Piece or something like that. Toei Animation's exactly what you're talking about, Aldo, where they will milk everything. They make it super slow outside of the writing of the manga just to milk it for money. And it's not until probably, honestly, up until last year, the animation in One Piece has always been fucking batshit bad. You know what I mean? And it's not until maybe 2020 or 2021 even that One Piece started looking good on screen. And it's because they're modeling the 2D animation over the 3D modeling. So it not only saves money, but it looks great in motion.
It looks really good. Honestly, Doc, like, I was so excited to start One Piece for the fact that I'm going to see something evolve in the animation aspect of it. But then you're like, oh, the animation doesn't change
until episode 900.
Yeah, but you do see like small like animation differences.
Nami's tits just getting bigger.
Like, I can't remember what we watched. I think I can't remember what we watched last time. That we watched 2 seasons of. You can see the animation change like drastically. Yeah, thank you. I think it was K-On!
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe
like the animation just changed a lot for the better.
And that's what I think is so.
And those are the small. I'm sorry. And those are the small changes I'm seeing in like the early One Piece. Like, it was really bad at the beginning.
Super bad.
But, like, it just progressively just gets better.
It's more...
But the big changes, you don't notice them, like you said, until, like...
No, it's not 900. Maybe
it's like, episode 890, bro.
No,
the episode of the Wano arc is episode 890.
No, it's
900.
around Marineford where the animation, you can see, like, an obvious change in it. But, yeah, it doesn't get... monumentally good till like way later
literally
on, like
episode 890.
Yeah, like Whole Cake Island time. Yeah,
bro, 800 and like that's what makes One Piece such a hard sell sometimes. It's like, but it looks so shitty. Don't worry, it looks great right now. You just got to get to episode 890. Like, imagine telling somebody that they're just gonna laugh in your face, be like, "What? I'm not gonna watch 900 fucking episodes to wait for it to look good."
It's good, and that's when you can tell the difference between writing and fucking animation. You don't need to be the hardest fucking animator to give something good.
It's because Toei's cheap, though, and I think the audience knows that it's because Toei's cheap. But the point I'm making here is
the pacing. The pacing.
The pacing is like. It's so consistent to how it's written. Like, it's a straight one-to-one adaptation. And that's probably, like, what the anime has best for going for it. Because even... What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of, any anime where they've... Oh, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of The Witcher Season 2 on Netflix. So, like, I've read all of the Witcher books except for the last one, which isn't even where the show is right now, right? And the Witcher show is picking and pulling from so many source aspects, like the games, the books, whatever, that the pacing is so breakneck that it's like, you can't even follow what's going on, right? And it's so different from the book by now that it happened in the span of like 3 episodes. And when I compare that to something like Game of Thrones, it took Game of Thrones like 2-3 seasons to move so far away from the books that people start getting mad.
I did see your conversation on Twitter with Robbie, and apparently Robbie said that they're picking up right after the books.
So basically the games have sequel material after the end of the books, right? But the Witcher show has basically skipped through so much of the books that you're missing like 80% of what happens in the books. Like, Ciri gets a whole fucking lesbian phase, and like starts fighting in an arena, and like all the cool, just terrible things that happen to these characters, because it's kind of a tragedy at the end of the day.
It's like Berserk. Yeah,
kind of. That's how The Witcher is. It's really like depressing, like how terrible life is for these people.
You really need to play the games, man. They're really...
I've played some of like the originals, but that was like me going over to somebody's house and like watching them play or something.
Play Witcher 3 and I guarantee you'll...
People, but like, see, The Witcher 3 is a sequel to the final book.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the show has basically been like, hey, any book fans, we don't give a shit about you. Like, we've basically skipped the entire book narrative to jump directly to the end of the video games.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's like 7 books, bro. There's like 8 books. And they've been like, okay, fuck every book narrative.
Okay, but then again, super tangent here. Like, then we have the other end of that conversation with fucking Matrix. Did you really need to reintroduce... I haven't watched The Matrix, but from what I heard... They reintroduce, like, trying to catch new fans into the story.
It's
like, you did not need to do that.
It's 2 hours of introduction.
So, exactly.
It's a 2.5 hour film. It's 2 hours of introduction. So now you're mad at
Witcher that they have no introduction.
Yes! Because I'm invested. It's because The Witcher's on multiple mediums. You are telling part of your fan base, just like, hey, I know you've committed to, like, certain aspects of this fandom. But us, as a television telling audience, we have decided that your priorities and your time didn't matter enough.
Dog, but you have to appreciate the fact that they didn't try to retell you this story instead of like a reboot like Cowboy Bebop or like...
It's because the movie didn't need to happen. The most recent Matrix film didn't need to happen.
Exactly.
Because if it's a 2.5 hour film, you spend 2 hours just like reintroducing all the characters and like a half hour to like cause a 3-act film. You fucked up. You already fucked up.
Yes. But what I'm saying is that The Witcher just giving out new material, it's a risk I'm glad they took.
Well, I like The Witcher, to be honest. I'm liking Witcher.
It's because he's mad that they don't go into an introduction of The Witcher.
It sounds like a person.
But how many times have we seen
No,
Netflix?
it's not an introduction.
Exactly.
No, that's what's cool about like both the games and the books is that they're episodic. Like that's what like made the show cool in season 1. It's just like the least important episodic portions of the books that were never featured in the games can happen in the show. The least important parts of the game that are episodic that were never in the books can happen in the show because it's a show. It's literally episodes.
You know what it reminds me of? A modern version of what like Zelda cartoons were and like Mario Bros cartoons were. It was like this out of the conversation, canon conversation
Sonic
of like
the Hedgehog had one too.
Yeah, but that was a hit.
Did you ever watch?
But that was a hit.
That shit was fire.
But when you talk about like early 80s like Mario Bros like animations or like Zelda animations, like even the creators of the game were like, what the fuck is going on?
But then, that's what I'm saying. What was the biggest problem in the Mario Brothers live action film?
Yeah.
What was that they streamlined it to a movie audience that had nothing to do with the games and it pissed off everybody.
They really pushed on the plumber aspect of the character when they didn't need to at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you play any Mario game, you're never gonna even know. You're never even gonna know they're a plumber.
Yeah,
ever,
plumber, bro. And like the movie was like, oh, they need to live in New York and they need to be plumbers. What the fuck, dog? Like, get the fuck out of here.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the Witcher show has streamlined it to the point that like it doesn't even make sense to like the educated audience. So you've made it more casual and more. It's like do you remember the Sci-Fi Channel shows? How they were always like just batshit crazy shit happening, and every time you tried to follow the plot, they'd be like, the plot doesn't fucking matter, we're just fucking moving. And that's how what The Witcher feels now. It feels cheap. It feels gimmicky. It's so like...
yeah, but they do put you in a good world building aspect of the show. That's what I got from the first season.
You need to watch season 2.
You need to watch, yeah.
You need to watch season 2. I'm just gonna tell you right now. You need to watch
it.
So we're talking about we're talking about Demon Slayer, not The Witcher.
Yes.
So Demon Slayer, spoiler no spoilers. Tanjiro cuts off the head of the guy that's killed all of his mentor's apprentices, and now Tanjiro is able to get like peace, air quotes peace, to the ghosts of these like apprentices, and he survives the 7 days. And he goes to final selection, which is just like the people that survive the 7 days inside of the Wisteria Forest go up and get like a little speech, and they're like, "Hey, pick a piece of ore from a volcano, from a meteorite that fell, and we'll be able to fashion you a sword out of it." Which reminds me of Game of Thrones.
It reminds me of the crystals from Star Wars.
Right, reminds me of Kyber crystals.
Kyber, there you go.
The Kyber crystals from Star Wars. Like, hey, what
is that? What the crystals they used to make the lightsaber?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Like, what rock is speaking to you? And like, we'll make a fucking sword out of it.
Yeah, just like woke girls.
So, Tanjiro gets gifted a crow, which is like a talking fucking magic bird that will give him his missions. And he's instructed to go back to where the fuck he's living, and he'll be given a sword in a couple days from the meteorite he picked. And Tanjiro hasn't seen his fucking sister in like 3 years, right? Because she's either been asleep or Tanjiro's been away training. So Tanjiro goes back to Uro Kadaki's shed up in the mountains. Mm-hmm. Nezuko's awake, greets him, and Tanjiro's like, "Holy shit! Like my demon sister's awake. What the fuck is happening?" And Uro Kadaki is like, he acts stern, but it's clear that like he's fucking relieved that Tanjiro is alive. He was like he's like,
you dropped the logs.
Remember, I probably should have sent that little kid to fight demons.
Right when he saw me, he was carrying some logs next in his like side. Right when he saw me, he was like, he drops those shits, and it's like, yeah, I can't believe this kid's still fucking alive. Because most of the kids I've ever sent have all died, you know?
Fuck, and that's such a crazy, like, weight on you as an audience. to like know that this guy has gone through that shit but still put Tanjiro on that situation?
Through the same situation.
It's because his job is literally to send children to their death. So he's kind of used to it.
But I mean, to be fair, one of those has to survive eventually. So he's got to. He's got to try. Yeah, he's got to try.
Like in the conversation of like Jedis and Padawans, like we don't see a lot of like risk to Padawans.
No,
like. You're Padawan, you already got the gift, you are gonna be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Here is like, yo, dog, like, honestly,
there's like 80% chance you're gonna die. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna train the shit out of you for 2 years, and there's like an 80% chance you're still gonna die.
You can still get fucked up, but, I mean, you have a shot now.
But, like, it's... And then again, I just think that's just emphasize of how big of a threat the demons are.
Mm-hmm. Right. They bring that up like halfway through the season. They're like, the trainers aren't being strong enough because too many people are getting through, and then we have too many weaklings being demon slayers. And like, why do I, as a Hashira, the highest member of the Demon Slayer Corps, have to go solve this demon problem when there's no good trainees?
And then again, if you want to break this up into another theme, the fucking demons are like a fucking homicide special on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, they're just killing people. For like one of the girls, like I believe, right after he gets into the Demon Slayer, after he gets his sword from the Horde. You were talking about this. I'm sorry, I was about to jump over that.
Go for it.
But you were talking about the ore, which they make their swords with. Uh-huh. But once you get a hold of your sword as a Demon Slayer, your sword gets a personality just like a lightsaber would.
Yeah, it gets a
certain color. Yeah.
It gets a color. Holy shit! Did Demon Slayer only steal from Star Wars? Holy fuck!
It is samurais. It is swords.
Holy shit! Shout out to Between Nerds. Like, where else are you gonna get this kind of commentary? But like, for real, I've never thought about that. So like, in Star Wars, your affinity to the side of the Force is gonna influence the color of your kyber crystal. And that's what's going to make your lightsaber glow a certain color, right? So
I did not know that, to be honest. So,
well, in episode 2, the Clone Wars, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson's character has a purple lightsaber because not
Maze Windu.
Yeah, not only is he like light side, like he's blue, but he's kind of on the edge, like he's purplish. You know what I mean? He's kind of dark side, like the red.
So for the canon, the purple one, it meant that like. Master sword skills.
No, it's blue.
Oh, that's blue.
Blue's master sword skills. Green is more attuned to the light side of the Force. Mm-hmm. Red is attuned to the dark side of the Force. Purple means that you're kind of on the edge.
Blue.
Yeah, you're red and you're blue. And then so like the end of Star Wars.
He's like Bakugo.
Exactly. So, like, the end of Star Wars Episode 9, when Rey reveals, like, her gold or silver fucking lightsaber, that means that she's strictly not attuning to the light side, the dark side, whatever. She's just attuned to the Force. No, not a Jedi entity, because that's light side. Okay. So she's just an entity of the Force itself. She is following the Force only. Like no teachings. So, here, that's what the Demon Slayer Corps is doing. You get like this magical demon slaying sword, and depending on your personality or like your affinity
or your fate,
it'll make the sword glow. So we meet right. Well, it's not right here, but in the film, in the Mugen Train film, we meet the Flame Hashiri, and he's got like an orange and red fucking sword. You know what I mean? Like he's the Flame Hashiri. Like it looks like fire. Gyu is the water Hashiri, and he's got
Hashira.
Yeah. Hashira. He's got like this darkish blue, silver blue kind of blade to him. We make characters that have bright silver or grays. And
even Zenitsu is like an elemental too, like with electricity.
It looks kind of yellow. It has like a hint of yellow to it.
Like a more goldish, actually.
Yeah, like a gold. Yeah. And then Tanjiro, he grabs his sword and it turns black. And the guy that spent all this time building the sword he wanted to see a bright red sword. He wanted to see like some crazy fucking color. And the sword just turns dark fucking pitch black. And he's like, what the fuck is that?
fucking Orogadaki, he just gets silent. And then Tanjiro's like, what does this mean? Well, honestly, it just means that you might die like in 3 months or so.
Basically
it's a bad omen.
Yeah, it's a bad omen.
Yeah, he basically tells them that any swordsman that gets like the black sword doesn't amount to much. Yeah,
doesn't
like, they don't
last
really,
long.
Yeah, like they really don't amount to much. Like they're basically, I mean, they're good swordsmen, but they're kind of ass. You're at the bottom of the list.
And then again, this reminds me of the Kirk list aspect of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't get a shiny sword. He didn't get a Kirk. You know?
Exactly. Honestly, I like that it's okay in canon to compare Demon Slayer to My Hero Academia. Because I like My Hero Academia, but that's one of those other things where we're talking about like, oh, you can't like Jujutsu Kaisen because Chainsaw Man exists. Oh, you can't like My Hero Academia because Demon Slayer exists. The mangaka have expressed in public opinion that like, no, like we are stealing from each other. Like we love each other, bro. Like you telling me I'm writing shonen day in and day out and I don't like My Hero Academia? Like you are crazy. Like there's no way around that. I'm writing shonen and I don't like One Piece. It literally doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, Tanjiro's going to go on his first mission. He gets the sword. Urokadaki made a box, a special like wooden box that Nezuko could go inside of, because what we're seeing is that one of her demon powers is she can shrink her body.
It's lighter and it's more dark in there and shit like that.
Right, because she just needs to be kept away from sunlight, right? And Tanjiro's just being like, well, I'm not going anywhere without my fucking demon sister. Mm-hmm. So
Tanjiro's character design will always include his wooden backpack.
Right, which has his sister in it. Mm-hmm. And something, I'm glad you finally brought up character design. I don't know why we haven't brought it up before. A lot of the characters start having a color palette associated with them. Mm-hmm. So when we met Gyo, he has on his left side, he's wearing a kimono that has like this yellow pattern that kind of looks like one of the big Japanese goldfish or something like that.
Oh, you mean like a koi fish?
Yeah, basically like a koi fish. I'm sorry, I'm dumb. But like, yeah, like part of his kimono has like this burgundy, almost like reddish kind of hue. The other's like super mismatched, right? And this is the kind of character that doesn't seem like he has a big personality, because he's very cutthroat when he speaks. He's very bland, but
to the point. Yeah.
To the point, but
country fella.
Right. Like, he's such a big contrast to Tanjiro in the beginning of the season. And this first mission is really cool for Tanjiro, because we see his first introduction to the blood demon art. Mm-hmm. So he's instructed by his crow to go to the west. You gotta go to the west. Go to the town in the southwest, in the west side of town. And that's where he's gonna be... he's gonna get his mission, and he shows up, and then people are being like, hey, there's like 20 girls missing, no one's seen them, no one knows what's going on. The most recent air quotes witness is the fiance of one of the girls that has gone missing. So Tanjiro is like questioning him. He's like a detective almost at this point. He's like, where were you? Where was she? Like, what was the last thing you remember?
And this guy is facing like repercussions from like the town. Mm-hmm. Because even the town is like, oh, he fucking murdered her. And he's walking free. Well, and this guy fucking did something to her.
You know, in murder cases, domestic violence, more like, I think it's like 90% of the time, like, it's the significant other. Yeah. In cases like murder,
well, they're the first person they go for. Yeah,
but that's why, like, literally in convicted like missing persons cases or murder cases, it's like 90% the significant other.
Especially when it comes to like women. When it comes to like a woman getting murdered, the first person they look for is their significant other. They're like, all right, yeah, you did it.
Dudes are really weird. As a dude, we're really fucking fun.
But then it's like, when he investigates this abduction to this guy, he's like, yeah, she got murdered in this alley, and then he goes to the alley and it smells gross as fuck.
Yeah, which, like, that's what I like about Tanjiro. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hacks, like, it's kind of cheat codes, because it's like
we don't know it's gonna happen until it happens, because he's like, And like he just fucking smells something bad.
There's no subtext. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's always full text. It's like I smell dead bodies. Oh shit, the demon's here. Holy fuck! Like so, and that's exactly what happens. He shows up to the alley, and how does he get the demon out?
Well, the demon pops out to attack a girl because he hears a scream. He's like, "Oh fuck, there's a scream over there!" And he fucking jets over there, and he saves the girl from the demon, which has like a portal underground.
He has like a mud power.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he can make like an alternate like dimension out of mud.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's 3 of him, too. Like, he split his own personality into 3 separate people, and those 3 bodies can, like, transport through, like, the mud dimension, whatever the fuck it is. It reminds me of a One Piece power almost. It sounds so ridiculous.
Oh,
well,
Caribou?
it reminds me of,
Yeah.
it reminds me of JoJo's Part 3 with the assistant to Miss Chocolata.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it is. Because Chocolata's power was, like, he could make mud.
He can talk to anybody through anything or some shit.
Or it makes
like
me think
that,
of
right?
Senor Pink. How he's able to like swim through all that shit.
That's true.
From One Piece, yeah. And so Tanjiro smells the demon, and like they're disappearing through like solid ground, like solid concrete and stuff like that, because of the mud power, whatever the fuck it is. So Tanjiro can smell out where they're gonna be, and that's where he like stabs his sword. Like he is pinpointing them out strictly through like their demon set, and they grab him at one point in this fight, and they pull him into their own like mud dimension, and that's where Tanjiro's just like.
Not only is he smelling the evil of this demon, he's smelling the innocent girls that died by him, and like.
And he's seeing their like clothing and their shoes and their sandals in this mud dimension.
And again, shout out to the horror aspect of this anime, because horror cannot be carried by animation. Like the dialogue here is that this demon is like, I like them young because they're more good.
No, I'm not gonna scar her up, because then she's gonna get ugly, and then she's gonna be disgusting to eat.
Well, also too, the way that he gets her, it's like she's just chilling in her bed, sleeping, and he just creeps up to her, like in the underneath her as she sleeps. No noise, no nothing. Just grabs her and pulls her underneath into this like mud world. So it's like that adds more to the way Aldo's saying to the element of horror, because it's like, dude, like not only can you not hear him coming, but you can't even be heard as you're getting took. So it's fucking scary.
For real, it's about the element. It's about the element of horror and hearing them coming, and then so.
Not only that, what I was trying to emphasize on was like this almost pedophilic fucking aspect to this demon motivation.
Like the younger they are, the more
ripe he's like,
are.
I don't like them old because they're not.
They're rotten.
You know, they're rotten.
It's like an old banana. I don't want that. I don't want the brown spots. I want
And again, like
that's a weird analogy.
Like we were talking about with all of these demons, is there's an empathetic aspect to all of them.
And
you know
I don't want to feel empathetic to that.
But you can't. That's why it's good writing, because it's just like, hey, here's his empathetic backstory. He's really just a fucking creep. So it's just like you're not empathetic towards him. So then it's just like, Tanjiro, green light, go, murder him, let's go. Like,
you know what it reminds me of? Like the first enemy encounter in Mob Psycho with a creep gym panty sniffing guy.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Because he wanted to be empathized too, and it's just like, no, dude, you're fucking garbage.
You're weird, yeah.
You're fucking garbage. Like, that's not gonna happen. So Tanjiro kills his first demon. And it's these people that Tanjiro heard the name Muzan, and what that means about trying to turn Nezuko back into a human. Like, you need to capture Muzan, you need to study his blood, and the only way to make a cure for demonness is like to get Muzan's blood and study it.
Demonitis,
demon titties. So if you're infected with demon titties, you need to get the cure from Muzan. Mm-hmm. So Tanjiro's like main goal here is to figure out who Muzan is, study him, and like get a cure for Nezuko. Like, Nezuko is Tanjiro's only goal for being a demon.
Don't
slayer.
they do that for like anti-venom for like snakes and shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
Exactly. So, Tanjiro corners the mud demon guy that's 3 different personalities. It's just like, tell me about it. Tell me about it. He's like, who? Tell me about Muzan. Who the fuck is Muzan? Where do I find Muzan? He's just like, oh, I've been sworn to secrecy. I can't tell you anything. Or I'm going to die. I'm just like, I literally have a sword to your throat. Tell me who he is.
No, you're going to die anyways.
You're going to die anyways. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I physically cannot tell you anything about
just the fact that I said the name, he's already on his way.
Right, yeah. He knows that I'm, like, talking about.
Because apparently one of the promises or, like, links to this high-tier devil manipulation thing with Muzan is that you can't speak my name. If you speak my name, I'm gonna come back and clap the cheeks.
He's leaving a curse on them through his blood.
Basically. Like, I'm giving you power, but yeah, exactly.
It's exactly like Voldemort.
Shout out to between nerds, Harry Potter in the mix.
But for real, so like... He just ends up kind of just murking himself and like just being like, dude, just kill me. Like I literally can't tell you anything.
Muzan is coming, please kill me.
Yeah, and that's what ends up happening. And like Tanjiro's frustrated all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is what I like when I mean the pacing in Demon Slayer is like breakneck. Is like the second Tanjiro kills him, the crow comes back out. Is like, you have a new mission. Please go to the north by northwest west town. And it's just like, literally, like in the anime, the last mission ended 10 seconds ago. We're really just introducing the new mission that quick. Any anime ever. One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, whatever, it would have been like a few episodes
before
right there.
They jump to the next saga.
Demon Slayer's the only ones that's still like, nope. Same scene. We're jumping to the very next place.
Don't you know we're short staffed? You're on the clock, bro. Let's go.
I've talked about how the sub is much better than the dub here.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The aspect of Demon Slayers having this fantastical thing to them, such as a messenger bird, this is what it is, but the thing actually talks.
It's like a metaphor, but not a metaphor. It's
just make him a fucking messenger bird, and I'm cool with it.
It's such like a flat-faced metaphor. It's not even symbolism at that point.
Yeah, and we see this bird talking, and on the sub, I mean, it sounds pretty organic. It sounds pretty natural. Yeah. But then in the dub, we have this fucking Shinichi Migi fucking...
Like from Parasite.
From Parasite, dude, and it's so annoying. I can't emphasize how bad the dub is.
It's because I literally don't know where they went wrong. Because I feel like even low budget, like dub adaptations now, have good voice actors. Like super low budget. I don't know what went so wrong that they were just like, give me the most generic dog shit voices you can find in the industry.
COVID. But then if you think about it, the way I think about it is that there has to be a whole process to this. Okay, record this line. This 19 line in chapter, blah, blah, blah. Do Tanjiro here. He does the scene. Nobody's really noticing how bad that shit sounds. Nobody can be like, yo, like imagine the process to be like, yo, can you give it a little bit more oomph?
I think they know.
Make it more 19th century Japanese.
You know, instead of like, hey, I'm here to use my credit card. Do you want to see my ID? Yeah, like, I don't know. The dub's so bad.
But the pacing's still good. So, what I'm talking about, Tanjiro has to go to like, I think they even use a big Japanese town's name. It's something like, you have to go to Edo or something. And they go to a really big town. Like, Tanjiro is basically like a rural bumpkin.
A country boy that doesn't, like an Amish person.
Exactly. Like, he's so up far on the mountains, he doesn't even understand what civilization is in Japan right now.
Like, how advanced they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he shows up, he's like, why is this whole town lit? Like, how are they keeping everything up at night? Why are there so many people?
What the fuck is that thing?
There's a food stand around. Like, what is going on? And Tanjiro, walking through town, his nose and his sense for pointing out demons is so accurate that he points out the Muzan, the demon of demons, the demon maker, in the middle of like
Vegas.
What's essentially like Shibuya district. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Luckily, he recognized the smell from But when his family got murdered, he's like, yo, this smells kind of
goes back
familiar.
to that too.
Yeah, he's like, yo, what the fuck? I smelled this before.
And that's kind of where, that's like, so, although when you made the excellent point earlier that this is like a villain, origin story, like Muzan's biggest downfall in this whole, even from the manga, is that he fucked with Tanjiro's family. Mm-hmm. Tanjiro is such a gifted individual. If Muzan had never murdered his family and Tanjiro never got that scent, everything could have been avoided from Muzan's standpoint.
He fucked around and found out.
Yeah, exactly. For real. Yeah. He fucked around enough that he found the one person that could fuck with him. Uh-huh. And that's exactly what happened, because like Tanjiro's walking through what's essentially Shibuya Square, smells Muzan, is just like, hey, that motherfucker dressed like Michael Jackson is Muzan.
But that's not Michael Jackson.
That's when we noticed Muzan he has like a daughter, he has a family. He's
like a whole secret human
he's
family.
Basically like, yo, what the fuck? How come this guy's blending in with society?
That's why he's been around for like 1,000 years and has never been found out. Because once we even meet the rest of the Hashira, like the top echelon of Demon Slayer society, they're like, I've never seen Muzan. I've never even fought an upper 12 member. Like, how the fuck are you seeing all these people?
And he was like, how the fuck were you able to find the Muzan of all people?
Have you ever seen the Kevin Costner film Mr. Brooks?
No.
We follow like a high class father of a family, and he's like almost like a politician, I believe, in his state or something like that. But he is also a serial killer. But he is living this mundane life with his family. Okay. And that's what it seems to me. And again, the horror here, you don't.
He's one of us.
When Demon Slayer, when the conversation of Demon Slayer starts, you never see it as like something that wants to be a horror, but it is a horror.
Yeah.
You know, like if you think about it, it's like
it's such a perfect shonen. People forget it.
It's such like deep evilness that you don't talk about.
Yeah. Because it's like he's one of us. You know what I mean? Like
he blends in so well,
and that's what's crazy. Because every time we see Muzan like 4 or 5 times in season 1, every time he's in a different form.
Yes,
every time he's either like this middle-aged man that's part of this family. He's a fucking woman. He's a child. He's like the start of season 2. He's literally a child. He's like a 12-year-old adopted child of some like family that can't produce children.
Crazy.
So, and that's what's scary, because it's like he hates humans. He wants nothing else but to eat humans, but he understands humans better than we do, to the point that he can like mask himself inside of us.
Blends in with any group, anybody at any time.
Terrifying.
That's impressive. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Which, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of part 4 JoJo's Diamond is Unbreakable, where the main villain in Diamond is Unbreakable is a guy that takes over somebody's life and pretend he's a serial killer. Mm-hmm. He's a schizophrenic, and he takes over somebody's life and takes over the aspects of like.
I'm sorry, schizo, like
this is Kita, right?
Offensive.
Kita,
yeah.
No, schizophrenic. The diagnosis is accurate.
But saying schizo, is that?
Kita literally was a schizophrenic because he had delusions about the impact on human life, and he would fake human empathy.
True.
To blend in, which is literally the definition of a schizophrenic.
Well, yeah, common traits between like psychopaths, schizophrenics. So it's like, yeah, they kind of mimic the way other people in society act, so they're like, okay,
it's like fucking Dexter in. Now that I think about it, too.
No, that's literally the point to Dexter. Yeah. That's the plot to Dexter. That's Muzan. That's Muzan here. Like so Tanjiro in the crowd points out Muzan in his human disguise is like, yo, you smell like a fucking demon. Yeah, you're a fucking demon.
You're the smell that I smelled that was at my house.
And Muzan, his blood is so infectious. Like his power to turn people into demons is so quick. And Muzan hears Tanjiro yelling, just quickly swipes his hand on the back of somebody's neck, turns that guy into a demon. That demon starts eating his wife in the middle of the crowd. So now, like, Tanjiro has to deal with the loose demon that's not Muzan in the crowd.
Just with his nails, too.
Right, exactly.
That shit was so fucking swift and fast. Like, nobody saw that shit.
What is this crazy kid yelling to me about? Oh, let's go, wife and daughter.
So even the cops start coming through, and they're just like, "Oh my god, this guy's attacking his wife."
Carrying a sword.
Yeah, and they're like, "Who the fuck are you? Why do you have a sword here?" Tanjiro just kind of runs off because he can't even explain himself. You know what I mean? It's like we were talking about the Demon Slayer Corps is outside of the realms of the law a little bit. And it's so sad because it's like Tanjiro is right there, and he can't do anything about it. And
it's a villain origin story.
It is. It really is, because immediately from right there, Tanjiro, after eating a bowl of ramen, is sent to another mission.
Yes.
Like the crow comes back and is just like, Kaka, you have to go to this shed in the middle of the mountains to the south by southwest. Go now, Mr. Tanjiro. And my favorite point of Demon Slayer is probably from like episode 10 onwards, because that's when they introduced the crew. Like we were talking about big threes in One Piece.
We're 2 hours in.
Oh my god. and we're talking about big threes in My Hero Academia. The big three in Demon Slayer is Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and what's his name? Inosuke. So on the way to the new mission, Tanjiro runs into this blonde guy, which is out of the ordinary for Japan, right? Mm-hmm. And he's harassing a girl, being like, "Oh my god, you're the love of my life. Please marry me immediately. Please marry me immediately." And
the kind of character we hate.
Yeah, I hate these characters.
You know, like he's like
thirsty ass. Yeah,
he's like
it's Sanji from fucking One Piece.
But on another level, man, like on an extreme, desperate level. Because at least Sanji knows his limitations. You know,
he knows he's being weird too.
Yeah, he knows he's being weird.
But this guy is like, fuck, dude.
Kind of like a rapey vibe, to be honest.
Yeah,
I get like heavy rape.
Yamcha.
Like a desperation, like, yo, we could die at any moment, so just have sex with me now.
Exactly. Marry me right now and hook up with me, and because we could literally die tomorrow.
Literally die at any moment.
So, Tanjiro beats up would-be Zenitsu. He saw him originally at the final selection in the Wisteria Forest. He was one of the people that made it through the 7 days. And he's just like a whiny bitch, bro. Like, he is trained by the former Hashira of the lightning. The lightning Hashira or the thunder Hashira.
Yeah, we actually learned that he slept through the fucking test. And he just like woke up and he was like, yo, I'm here at the end.
But knowing what we know about Zenitsu, that's cap.
Yes.
Because when Zenitsu, especially in the early pieces, says he's sleeping, that means he like blacks out into this alternate personality who's actually a fucking badass and can just like one shot anybody, which is what's like
Freakazoid.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
The mask.
Because or like the mask, exactly. Because like when Zenitsu blacks out and he actually can tone like the thunder pillar, the thunder
power,
the thunder breathing. Yeah. We haven't even talked about breathing. Oh my god.
Oh fuck. We haven't talked about breathing.
We haven't talked about breathing.
So like
hold on.
Fantastical world that Demon Slayer is, with the power of being a Demon Slayer, or a other words, air breathing master or breathing master.
Right.
Which then we are introduced to this idea that with perfect breathing, your body can do anything.
Exactly. So that's the gimmick. That's the power system in Demon Slayer, right? So when we're talking about the water Hashira, we're talking about the wind Hashira, we're talking about the sound Hashira. These are people that have mastered a certain breathing technique. So it's kind of like a disservice that we're talking about that when Tanjiro was being trained by the former water Hashira, Mr. Udokaraki.
There's no Kirk training.
Yeah, like it's like it's called concentration breathing, and we saw it in the fight when Tanjiro was fighting the mud guy, where he'd be like total concentration breathing.
Because they also use it for healing, for like being more agile and shit like that. It's this weird, like almost Nen aspect to the.
It's what makes the Demon Slayers superhuman.
Yeah.
This is what makes them like perform acts that are on par with like a demon, like a mythological creature.
Superhuman.
It's like how useful Luffy's rubber power is to him. Breathing is the same thing to Tanjiro.
Right, because to anybody else, a rubber power would be a detriment.
Exactly.
Yeah. To the concentration breathing, it's everything. Mm-hmm. So when we see in Tanjiro, him being trained by the water Hashira, he's trained in the water breathing technique. You know what I mean? Like Gyu is the current water Hashira because he's the master of the water breathing technique. And when we meet Zenitsu was trained by the former Thunder Hashiri. Mm-hmm. So that makes him like there's even a term for people that are trained by former Hashiris. Like Hashira. It's like its own, just you being trained by the Hashira gives you a piece of respect. It's like you are so talented that somebody that's mastered an entire breathing technique can train you. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes Zenitsu so important, because he's such a whiny bitch. But like when he blacks out into his other self,
and a simp too.
And a simp. But
very
like
simpish.
When he blacks out into his like thunder breathing technique, he's a fucking badass. You know what I mean? Like if you think what the main guy's alternate personality in Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that, where it's just like now you're a master demon lord just because you blacked out and let your other personality take over. It's insane. And
it gives me a Hakuba. What's the guys from One Piece? The blonde dude that transforms?
Yeah, it's Hakuba.
Yeah.
It
gives me that vibes.
And so Zenitsu and Tanjiro travel to this mansion, this house in the middle of nowhere.
That's the next mission, right?
Yeah, that's the next mission. And it's like the new domain of a really powerful demon. Mm-hmm. And they meet a brother and a sister that are like, hey, our brother got taken away to that house and we heard a bunch of screams and our brother hasn't come out for like 4 days.
Hansel and Gretel kind of shit.
Exactly. It feels like such a micro adventure that's entirely encompassed within itself that it feels like magical, it just being like a tiny encompassed adventure.
Mm-hmm. This is where we meet the demon Kyogai.
Yeah.
Which is the drumming or bongo fucking demon.
Yeah,
right.
They're called like tonko drums or something. I can't remember what they're called. There's something like that. But yeah, he uses those drums in order to basically either warp the reality that they're in, like enable to like move the dimension,
like move the axis in the room.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Or in order to basically warp them into another room entirely.
Because it's like the kind of traditional Japanese house setup that we were talking about in Wolf Children, where it's like every house, like every room is entirely encompassed by like shutters, mm-hmm. right? Like in traditional Japanese like floor layouts, you make the floor layout by how you're setting up your shuttering, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what this guy's doing. He's flipping the room on its axis, whether between like the X or the Y axis, between laterally or horizontally, just based on his own bongo drumming. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's trying to become more powerful, because we talked about how demons, if they eat more people, become more powerful. But if you eat in a certain type of human blood type, you can awaken, air quotes, awaken your demon power. So he smelled the blood potential of this one child, captured him, and now his brother and sister are trying to get the help of Tanjiro and Zenitsu in this house to go
exorcise this fucking demon.
Exactly. It feels like an exorcism story, for real. And that's what I think is so cool about like the storytelling here, because it's like they're just
like, instead of the whole like the power of God compels you, you have like a crazy ass fighting scene with like a redemption arc to it.
Just nerds and katanas being like, we're gonna slice you up. So they get split up. Zenitsu and the middle brother here run into somebody with a boar mask. He's a human with a boar mask. He kind of like lunges at Zenitsu. Zenitsu's a ginormous fucking pussy.
But when this character is introduced, the world already is so fantastical that as an audience and first time watchers,
you think he's a demon.
You don't not only that, but you think that okay, it's just a person with a boar head. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you don't know that it's a mask.
Exactly, and that's what I like because like. In One Piece famously, one of the biggest critiques I see all the time is that One Piece characters look tacky as fuck. Like, they're corny looking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's always been the fun of One Piece. Because, like, any character that the One Piece fandom even, like, cares about a bunch right now, and we have all these fan theories about, whether it be Joy Boy, Dr. Vegapunk, whoever... We know that when they're finally revealed, they're going to be tacky and corny as fuck. Like, it's going to be a joke. Like, how much that we've been building up to this and, like, how much of a joke the character is probably going to look like. Like, I could imagine a character like Dr. Vegapunk being the world's leading scientist that has made the world government, like, all these elite weapons. He's going to be a 3 feet tall fucking loser, dork, old man. And I'm just like, and I know, like, at the time they're going to be like, this is Dr. Vegapunk? This is what we've all been freaking out about? And it's just like, you haven't been reading. Demon Slayer kind of steals from that sometimes, because when it's that fantastical element that you're talking about, Aldo, it'll have all these crazy characters. It'll have a tongue demon, the bongo demon, but then it's just like there's a dude in a boar mask.
Bro, and I just thought about this as we're talking about it. We've had this conversation before with like animes like Full Metal Alchemist that have this seven sins kind of theme to it.
Yeah.
And here, I guess now that I rewatched it and revisited it, now that I have those conversations in my head about like tropes in anime, when I saw the big fat dude, okay, gluttony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then here we're getting introduced to another deadly 7 deadly sins kind of thing of rage. Because Boarhead, what's his name? Fucking Inosuke is a rageful fucking character.
That's like the best part.
But but like in the same conversation is like the same conversation of like Bakugo. Like, is he a bad guy or is he a good guy?
Inosuke's always a good guy. Honestly, they're written the same way because, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what I was talking about last week, where CJ was talking about, like, I haven't finished the manga, but I've read enough that I feel like Bakugo's always written to be like a bad guy at the end. Mm-hmm. No, Inosuke's always a great guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's a garbage human being. The thing about Inosuke is he was raised by a boar on a mountain, which is why he wears the decapitated head of the woman boar that raised him on the mountain.
Princess Mononoke style.
Princess Mononoke style, exactly. But like, which is why he comes off as like a terrible person. But that's because he's socially inept. Because he wasn't.
Yes, exactly.
He wasn't raised by people. He was raised by a boar on the mountain. So he has animalistic tendencies.
Mm-hmm. He basically acts solely on instinct.
And
exactly.
If Tanjiro is a inept city boy, like Inetsu, what's his name? Zenitsu, it's even more of an inept in like city
and civilization.
Yeah, in civilization.
Yeah.
It's because Zenitsu, his backstory is that he was the master, the previous Thunder Hashiri that trained Zenitsu picked him up because he paid off Zenitsu's debts. Hashira, this has happened in One Piece before, where the brothel system is so like mainstream. We talked about this in Samurai Champloo, where people can encompass debts to a prostitute so much that like they can dedicate themselves to this person, because like the people in the brothels, the prostitutes, are basically like slaves almost. Like, you have to buy them out of the brothel. So Zenitsu fell in love with a prostitute.
Human trafficking is bad, people.
Yes, very bad.
Yeah, it's like streamlined human trafficking.
Yeah.
And Zenitsu fell in love with this woman who was in a brothel, so he had to pay X and X amount to get her out. But she was actually playing him because she was already gonna like be bought out by this other guy that she was actually in love with. So he encompassed all this debt to buy this girl out when she just ran away with another guy anyways. So Zenitsu's master bought him out, and that's why he's so like, he kind of is pampered, because even when like he was in trouble, he kind of got bought out by this super powerful person, and other students of the Thunder Hashira were like, yo, why is our master spending so much fucking time with you? And like, he's wasting, you've mastered one form of the thunder breathing form when there's 5, 6 maybe. There's always like an extra one.
And you didn't even know.
And you didn't even know because you can only do the very first one.
The basic.
The very basic one, which is fucking broken in and of itself.
And now that we're talking about, that almost compares to the first Ayazawa's comment to Midoriya's Kirk. It's like, are you really going to use your Kirk and then be useless afterwards?
Exactly. So, Zenitsu is running around this revolving mansion at the same time that Tanjiro is at the opposite side of the house. And Zenitsu is kind of still getting scared by the person in the board mask, these other minor demons. And Zenitsu, we like, I feel like the first really good piece of animation in Demon Slayer is around episode like 11-12 when Zenitsu does the Form 1 thunder breathing technique for the very first time. Because like he blacks out. Like every time this happens, like his eyes are closed and he's assuming one form where it's just like shoulders down, head down to the ground. Like he's going to dash forward, but his left hand is on the back side of the hilt of his sword. The right hand is over the hilt of the sword on the left side of his hip. And it's like he's going to dash forward, right? And one of the things about Demon Slayer, which even as a manga reading audience, we've never gotten the answer to, is like what the breathing forms mean. Because they always show a personification of whatever the breathing form is. When Zenitsu uses thunder breathing clap, it's always shown in electricity and lightning. When Tanjiro does a fucking water dragon thing, a water dragon comes out. When there's a spiral, when there's a fire breathing technique, literal fire comes out. And the thing is, the question for the audience has always been like, is that actually happening, or is that a drawn metaphor? Yeah, a dramatization and metaphor
how much
for
the sword is carrying,
for what is actually happening in that form. And we've never gotten the answer.
It almost seems like the colors in Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to a point that, okay, we know this is happening, but why can't he use water and fire and this guy electricity?
Right.
Like, is there a mud sword power? Is there a wood genus style type of breathing power? You know what I'm saying? Because even then, when we meet the pillars, you broke it down as far as like in comparison to Tanjiro's breathing technique. Like the sound pillar is not really doing much of that, just besides like focusing his breathing into his ears, and not his ears, but like his power on its own.
Right. So, and that's why like I like that it's left up to interpretation. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Harry Potter. Because there's a lot of... Some of Harry Potter, they really, really try hard to explain, right? And there's other parts, like, especially in the early books, when it comes to the magic and what's actually happening, it's just like, I don't fucking know, dude, magic.
Like, let your imagination
fill in
the blanks.
Just don't even fucking think about it. Like, why are you tripping this hard about it? So, like, here is a lot of the same thing. Because... when Zenitsu uses Thunderclap, and it seems like a lightning storm within the room, but it's literally just one demon getting his head cut off. It's like, I guess it's not actually happening.
Can I say, wow, the flash step that he uses, it reminded me a lot, so much of, remember when Zoro fights Mr. One?
Uh-huh.
And then he uses the Itoryu, the one sword style version, and then he uses Shishi Son, the lion strike.
Uh-huh.
Just cuts him, like, dude, just the one sword style, just like, I got heavy vibe. Like, I got heavy Zoro vibes when he did that flash step, that thunder breathing move.
A lot of those a lot of the Zoro fights are why people don't like One Piece, though. Because, like, it feel like One Piece has a very strict power system a lot of the time when it comes to hockey, when it comes to the devil fruits, when it comes to a lot of things, but then Zoro just kind of does whatever.
Obliterates all that.
Yeah, you know what I say demon sword fighting slashing technique. And
it's like watching Kill Bill.
Kind of, yeah. But in One Piece, that exclusively applies to Zoro.
Zoro, exactly. Because it's just, this dope-ass ninja person with a sword. Okay, he's gonna get out of it with a sword.
That's why people don't like One Piece. Well, no, it's one of the critiques about One Piece.
He's El Zoro.
Yeah, it's because what's the defense for that? You know what I mean? Like, if somebody comes at me being like,
Tanjiro's technique comes from the wielding of his fucking sword without his special ore. So
that is true, actually. Yeah,
it's not a bad idea. I think that's a really valid point, because what we see right here is the main fight happens, and we get like a bit of exposition between the guy with the
I think they're called Suzumi drums. I'm pretty sure
the
they're
small
called
little
drums.
traditional looking Japanese drums that are tied to his chest, and when he bangs on them, that's when the room spins.
Yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure they're called Suzumi.
And it's a very hollow, like, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes it eerie as fuck. Again, giving props to the horror aspect of this anime.
Exactly, which like Demon Slayer is never considered in the horror like conversation. Mm-hmm. but Demon Slayer is probably the most like successful horror anime of the past like 4 years.
Horror forward.
But with the guy with the demon having I think it's like 4 drums, like 2 above his shoulders and then like 2 underneath, like by his rib cage. Yeah. So Tanjiro being like quick on his feet, as we were saying, like being able,
and not only that,
to
smelling shit too.
Yeah. He was able to determine that, like, when he hits this specific drum, the room's gonna change to the left. When he hits this one, it's gonna change to the right.
Because not only, I'm sorry to cut you off again. Because not only of him changing the axis of the room, he also has this like wind claws attack to him, which he also controls by the drumming of his fucking body.
Mm-hmm. Which basically releases like this big slash attack that can
like
cut you in half. Yeah,
Freddy Cougar kind of shit.
Yeah.
And Tanjiro beats the guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's the big thing. Like, Tanjiro's getting clawed the fuck up. He breaks multiple ribs just from the fucking room spinning. He almost breaks a leg. He's clawed, like, in the face. Mm-hmm. And Tanjiro, mastering his water-breathing techniques, starts using, like, a rolling... What was it, the rolling tide form? Or one of the ones where, like, he gains...
Windmill.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that.
He's gaining motion from
spiral water breathing
from a spinning in the air, because it's like, well, if he's gonna flip the room, I might as well just spin my attack with the motion and go with the motion and slash the guy that way. And that's where we get the exposition on like how the upper 12 demons work, right? Because what we haven't even talked about is when Tanjiro was in the town where he met Muzan, in the middle of what seems like Shibuya Square, is Tanjiro meets a demon doctor. And this demon doctor is... Tanjiro's harassing her, being like, hey, can you help turn my sister, Nezuko,
she's subdued like the demon in the city center. Right.
She used her blood demon art to unleash whatever pheromone, whatever the fuck, however they're explaining it.
Smell.
To like smell away his anger or whatever, so that she can help treat him and try to turn him human.
Like a hallucinogenic.
Right. So Tanjiro figures out where she lives. She has an assistant demon helper, and his power is to turn things like invisible. So she has a whole mansion on the outskirts of the city that is invisible to the average human because her demon helper is turning it invisible through his demon art power. Who's a simp for her?
He's a simp for her.
But in complete contrast to fucking Zenitsu's character, right?
Yes.
The electric guy?
Yeah.
Because he's Zenitsu's more of a horny guy. But this guy,
he just like respects her so much. He's like, you can't even
don't look at her.
You can't even sexualize her because like that's too disrespectful. Her name's Tamayo. The guy's name is Yushiro.
Yes.
And so Tanjiro is hanging around here trying to learn more about Nezuko and how to treat her condition, which is then why he's going after the 12 moons to try to get near Muzan. Right, so that's the motivation here. This is where Tanjiro first learns about like the 12 top upper echelon demons.
He learns about the tier system.
Right,
because to get their blood.
Because Tamayo is what we were talking about. How like, hey, there's 12 demons that are closest in relation to Muzan. So if you get their blood and we study their blood, we might be able to get a antidote of Muzan's blood and like be able to treat Nezuko.
And not only that's what she's bringing to the table, but she also like deepens Netsuko's hypnosis.
Right. Yeah,
you know, like she does something else to her personality,
and they never explain it. They never explain it. Exactly what we're talking about the fantastical element that's never explained.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of glad they don't, because if they did explain it. You know how people are, bro. Yeah, you know how people are, bro. People are going to be like, that's fucking stupid. No, just leave it to whatever the fuck you think happens, and just fill in the blanks.
And that's the rabbit hole that the creator for My Hero Academia fell in.
Horikoshi's so intent on, like, over-explaining everything that we're never going to move past certain points in the story.
Yeah.
And here, it just
happens.
Passes through. Yeah.
It just happens.
She's like, let your own imagination fill in the blank, and there you go.
and the thing about Muzan, after his interaction with Tanjiro in the town square, now he's like turned on to. He's not turned on by Tanjiro, but like he's more aware of Tanjiro now, right? He's like, there's this demon slayer that's looking for me specifically. He pointed me out in the crowd. Like I feel threatened by this kid.
Yes.
So Muzan sends
his top tier,
which says a lot to Tanjiro's character, because this guy's been roaming around for what?
2 weeks.
Millennia, centuries, and shit like
and
that.
This was just
and
start.
He's like 500, 600 years old.
Yeah. And nobody's been able to be like, yo, that's Muzan. And then finally some kid comes along like, yo, that's fucking Muzan right there.
Tanjiro's 2 weeks into his internship.
Exactly. He's just like, wait.
This guy is fucking the guy that killed my fucking family.
So their names are Susanoo and Yahaba.
Crazy demons, dog.
It's because they're not even crazy. Like, the more you think about their powers, even by the end of season 1, it's just like, wow, they really sucked. Huh?
Yeah,
they
kind of sucked.
they weren't even that powerful, because they basically bust into Miss Tamayo's house. Mm-hmm. Because Susanoo has like a ball that she can project and like throw. It's like a boomerang almost, but like a super high powered boomerang. Like she'll throw this ball at you, it'll come back at her, and you, even if you cut it, like it's just still gonna have the same force projection, and it's just gonna like punch you in the face and come back at her. And then this guy Yahaba's fighting with like an invisible force power, which at first like Tanjiro like can't even see, because it's just busting through the house. They cut off Yushiro's head right away, but he's a demon, right? So like we know he's gonna bounce back. He starts like transposing his head again right away, even after they blow it out. And this is the first like flex of Tanjiro's like water breathing.
Yeah.
This is where we start seeing forms like 1 through 8, where it's just like form 1. Silent water technique, or like form 2, the windmill.
I like when he does the water wheel right before he hits the ground. That's like good, innovative. Like, yo, before my momentum hits the ground, I'm gonna spin really quick so that I can stop my momentum. That was creative.
But then again, when we meet the devil that he's fighting, Susamaru. Sorry, the screen was blocking the Ru at the end. Susamaru is that. Just like the drum guy that was able to flip a room into his axis, he's not controlling gravity, he's not controlling air, he's controlling the direction into which...
Oh, you're talking about Yahaba. You're not even talking about Susanoo.
I thought Susamaru was the arrow guy.
Susanoo has the balls.
Yes, the girl has the balls.
Yahaba.
Oh, you're right.
Yahaba's the guy with the arrows.
My bad. Yeah, Yahaba. Yahaba moves everything to whatever direction he wants He chooses.
It's like, so if you've ever taken physics 1 or even like high school physics, like what I took in like the 11th grade, the very first and pretty much the only thing they ever teach you is vectors, right?
Yeah.
Which is like force moving in a given direction. Yahaba's power is like the physical manifestation of a vector. It's like you can see the direction that he is moving force, which is a vector. And that's what makes his power
like
so
differential scary. Fucking.
That's what makes his power so scary, because it's like the only people that can see the force of the vector, the force of the motion, are other demons.
Man, you heavily emphasize nerd in between nerds.
No, it is.
Hey, I'm sorry. I took physics 1.
Because that's how it is, and that's how you see it in the animation.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about seeing Tanjiro's peak, like, water breathing technique, like, he makes the instinctive decision to, like, if he's gonna turn the energy this way, I need to flip this way, and that's how he moves across his energy.
Exactly. But he doesn't even see it at first. It takes Yushido, while trying to regenerate his fucking head that was blown off, being like, hey, I'm going to give you this demon charm, which again, they never explain how the demon charms work. They just kind of fucking work. It reminds me of Pokemon, like the original season of Pokemon, because there's an episode where there's a ghost Venusaur and a ghost Gengar, and they're causing
mayhem.
Well, not mayhem,
Mischief.
but
It's more like mischief.
well, hallucinations. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing like the ghosts of certain Pokemon or whatever. But if you have these certain charms on your head, then you can see past the hallucination. Which me, as an American audience, as a kid, I was like, that makes no fucking sense. I have no fucking idea what's happening. But that's just like a mainstay of like spiritualism in Japanese culture.
It's like carrying a rabbit's foot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just one of those cultural things that's just...
Sana colita, man.
Exactly. It's just how spiritualism works in that culture. And the demon charm on the forehead that lets Tanjiro see the demon vectors is one of those. Mm-hmm. So what essentially happens is that Miss Tamayo is she uses her blood demon art to open up the veins in her forearm to let out the pheromones that's going to weaken these other demons. And at that same time, Nezuko, as a high-powered demon, is fighting them at that same exact moment. Well, she's the fucking best, because like she doesn't have the ability to recharge like the demons that can eat people, but she's still going toe to toe with like people one step down from Muzan.
What's that soccer anime called?
Soccer or volleyball?
Soccer.
I don't know a soccer one.
Supercampeones. I know that's what it's called in Spanish.
Shut the fuck up.
But it's about this kid having like a whole last arcing story of being a professional soccer player.
I didn't even know that.
I did not know that.
But here Nezuko is fighting with like her legs.
Right.
She's able to have enough rest to be like, fuck you, you're not gonna hurt my witch mother, which is the fucking lady that spews her. Yeah, Tamaya, which spews her spores and shit. And she goes toe to toe with this like almost unbreakable ceramic ball that this fucking demon lady's throwing.
Yeah.
And it just looks so badass, dude. Airflow, the kicks that Nezuko makes, it's fucking intense.
Right. But it's the weakening of their will through Tamiyo's like power that lets Tanjiro basically kills Yahaba, cuts off his head with his demon slaying sword, which makes it so that his head can't regenerate to his body. But then Susamaru, her will and her... We were talking earlier how Muzan has left a curse on the people he's left his blood on.
Yes.
So...
It's called... My bad. The anime that I was referring to in English is Captain Tsubasa.
I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of that, actually, yeah.
It's a really good anime. Actually.
I need to watch that. I need to check it out.
So Susamaru is her will and her guard's not up as much because of Tamiyo's like her pheromone power or whatever the fuck it is. So Tamiyo's questioning Susamaru, asking who's telling her to do this, even though they know it's Muzan. Why is he telling you to do this? And Susumaru fucks up. And she's like, Master Muzan told me to do this because he said you're a detriment to his life. Part of the curse is they're never allowed to mention his name.
He shall not be named.
Right. So, yeah, exactly. It's exactly like a Voldemort power. So what happens is, like, Muzan's blood personifies within her and, like, ejects these giant fucking arms out of her body and just kind of, like, tears her head off. Because if all her power is coming from Muzan's blood...
Well, the arms come out of her mouth and basically like crushes her fucking head off.
Yeah, like it not only rips it off, like it encompasses like 180 and just kind of just crushes it.
Like a grape.
Exactly.
It's like an alien when that shit pops out of your chest.
And this is the fight we should have been describing before we were describing the demon that has the house that flips rooms. Because that's where we were supposed to explain like water breathing techniques. So, Tanjiro, with his water breathing technique, is basically able to use the momentum of the room, of the demon with the tango drums on his fucking body that's flipping the room, and uses that momentum to cut off the demon's head. But at that same point, they left the box with Nezuko inside of it outside.
Yes.
So, the guy with the boar head, Inosuke, who's also ends up being a demon slayer. He was at the final selection with Tanjiro and Zenitsu. He has...
Can I emphasize a point in the anime? The leader of the Demon Slayer Corps, the guy with the messed up face or whatever, he even specifically says, if you're watching the anime, it kind of breezes through it kind of quickly, but he says specifically, whoa, 4 people have made it through the final selection. But when you see in the actual final selection, you only see the 3. You see Zenitsu, Tanjiro, and then you see the other guy, the one that palms the little girl's head.
Oh yeah,
the big tall fucking the one that Tanjiro grabs his wrist, where he's just like, "Hey man, you better let her go, or I'm gonna fuck you up."
Well, you see the girl too. You see Tsuyuri.
Oh, so then he says 5 then. Okay, my apologies.
Because you see Tsuyuri too, like the trainer of the butterfly Hashira.
Yeah. We see her too. Okay, yeah. So then my apologies. Then he must have said 5 was still passed through, because he specifically says one extra person that we don't see, and then it brings up to the point that how you said that he's actually one of the demon slayers because he passed through the test, but without nobody noticing.
Right, and that's what makes Inosuke's character so crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this was somebody literally raised on the mountain by literal boars. Like, no formal training. It's a miracle he even speaks Japanese.
Yeah.
And I think that's more of a point in the manga, which makes me so mad, like, about the dub. Is just like, Inosuke's voice is supposed to be so deep, it's a meme, number 1. Number 2, his Japanese is supposed to be so bad that he's barely, like, legible. You know what I mean? In the dub, is just like, hey, I'm just random shonen character with just, like, a slightly scratchy voice. which is, like, that's not Inosuke. That is literally not Inosuke's character. Because the beginning of the Entertainment District arc, which is where we are in season 2 of the sub, which hasn't been introduced into dub yet, is that, like, somebody literally tells Inosuke at one point, like, you are trying to be a girl. You are pretending to be a girl so that we can find a demon. Shut your fucking mouth. Your voice is way too fucking deep. So that would not work in the sub, because it's like, his voice isn't even all that deep.
Like, meow, meow. Fucking, I don't know. It's annoying.
So after Tanjiro beats the demon with the tango drums on his chest, he goes outside to try to get to the box that has Nezuko inside of it. And then when he jumps outside, he sees Zenitsu getting his fucking ass beat by this unnamed character in the boar mask, who's Inosuke. Because Inosuke, as a demon slayer, he's a demon slayer, he's straight up telling everybody, my one job is to kill demons. How does he say? He senses a demon, he sees a demon, because if Tanjiro is smell, Zenitsu's hearing, then Inosuke is
like bad intent.
Yeah. He's got like a fucking bat sense. He's got a spidey sense or something. He's like, I can tell that there's just a demon inside of that box.
And if you think about it, at the beginning of the Mugen train arc, he's very skeptical about the train.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing. Yeah. So Inosuke is like, hey, my one job is to kill this demon that's inside of that box. You are stopping me, Mr. Inosuke. So I am able to use lethal force to get you out of my way so that I can kill this demon. And it takes Tanjiro coming out after Zenitsu gets his ass beat, headbutting Inosuke in the head, and that's when Inosuke stops. Tanjiro basically gives Inosuke a concussion.
And again, another trope to Tanjiro is that not only is his sense of smell really good, he has a hard ass head.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason, that's part
which
of his
again reminds
power.
me of like Luffy almost. Like,
Well, his is only mostly because like he can't feel that shit.
right.
So it's like, yeah, of course his head is.
But his head is emphasized like in almost like every like.
No, he's saying Luffy can't feel it. Because
yeah.
Luffy's rubber, he can't feel physical
Gotcha,
pain.
I gotcha.
That's not part of fucking armament hockey or some shit. So, right here, like Inosuke and Tanjiro get into a fairly serious fight. Like Tanjiro breaks several of Inosuke's ribs and puts him into a concussion through a
To
headbutt.
damper them.
Yeah.
Damper him. Because even in his like knocked out state, he's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker.
Because the thing about Inosuke, especially in the beginning, is he's just so like, because he was raised on a mountain, he's basically an animal. Like has very primal instincts. He's like, I just need to be the biggest, strongest person in the room. I'm an animal, right? If I take your food, you should be mad enough at me that you're going to try to fight me, right? Which exactly is what happens, because so they beat this demon, the crows come back, and they're like, attention, everyone that's hurt during this fight, please go to this one mansion and recuperate. And Inosuke's like trying to bully Tanjiro. He's trying to take his food, he's trying to take extra portions, he's trying to take extra space on the floor when they're laid up in their cots, ready to go to bed. And Tanjiro's like not falling for it. Like he's just such a generally good person. Mm-hmm. It's pissing Inosuke off.
And there's even this like comical relief to the dialogue with Inosuke. Like he's like there's like this piece of dialogue where Tanjiro will be like, hey guys, this way, and then Inosuke will be like, yes, good boy. This was totally my idea. Let's go this way. Like, I allow you to do this kind of thing.
I love Inosuke so fucking much, bro.
Because it's like, I can beat you up, motherfucker, but I decide not to.
It's because he could and he couldn't. Because, like, in a strict, like, strength contest, if it were just, like, arm wrestling or something, like, Inosuke would always win, right? But Inosuke's so fucking stupid, and Tanjiro's just so gifted that, like, Tanjiro's probably always gonna win in a head-to-head fight. And the only time, like, Inosuke is, like, allowed to feel like he'd be able to participate is because, like, Tanjiro kind of lets him. Which is, again, like, a shot at Inosuke's ego.
Mm-hmm. It's like the whole dynamic, like, Vegeta and Goku.
Exactly. And Inosuke is Tanjiro's Vegeta.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. And Zenitsu is just kind of, I don't know, Krillin,
Zenitsu,
I guess.
I guess.
Don't know. It's because Zenitsu, his personality is like such a detriment that he's bad, but like the thunder breathing power is so overpowered that it's like, when writing, you had to give him a terrible personality, or else he'd just be too broken from the start.
Yeah.
It's like if Mineta was a main character in
It's like if Bakugo was forward thinking. You know what I mean? Like, Bakugo has such an overpowered power that it's like, holy shit, like, we can't stop him. But he has such, like, a bad personality, and he's so hard to deal with that it's fair in a fight. Zenitsu's like the opposite. Like, his power is so broken, but he's such like a pussy that it doesn't matter all that much. So they basically, we get the sequence like a few times in the manga where it's our main three basically just holed up in a cabin or a house healing. And just like doing
training arc.
Yeah, very light training. So when I'm talking about the pacing,
More like recuperating.
yeah, when I'm talking about pacing, like the actual fight with the main demon that can flip the house is like half an episode, and it's just like about Tanjiro.
It delivers so much in so
It does,
little time.
In like 7-8 minutes, you know what I mean? But then we'll get like a full 2 episodes, which is like 40 minutes of screen time, just about them
Bed rest.
about them bed rested. And that's one of the craziest things about Demon Slayer, because like even when reading the manga, you're never mad at those points. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Like, it's like, you gave me the most badass fight sequence I've ever seen put to paper in one chapter. You can waste my time for 10 chapters. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, it's...
But in this sequence of episodes, like, we know that they're there to heal, but then, like, out of nowhere, they introduce you with this subplot of this 4 different characters. Not, what is it? Yeah, 4 different characters. 2 young girls who mimic a character of like a Sprite, or like a, I don't know. It's so
like a Coca-Cola Sprite.
Yes, like it just seems like these 2 girls are in favor of Tanjiro as he's healing. But one of the trainers that is there...
You're thinking of a different sequence. You're thinking of the training sequence at the end.
Oh, okay. No,
You're thinking in the Butterfly Mansion.
Oh, after, shit. Yes, I am.
So, yeah.
Yes, I am.
The very next... So they train up in the house for a couple of weeks. They become better friends, whatever. They get sent to a mountain. They're like, people have been dying on top of this mountain. It smells like demon blood, whatever. We meet one of the lower 12 demons of Muzan. Right, so like the upper 12 is only 6 high powered demons. The lower 6 are lesser so demons, right? So
the B team,
exactly. So we start being introduced to the B team here because what's her face? The demon doctor that's trying to turn Nezuko back into a human. Tamayo is asking Tanjiro to send her blood samples of the top 12 demons so that she can try to model Muzan's blood so that she can make a cure. Right? So, Tanjiro originally sends a blood sample of the demon with the Tongo drums like on his chest, but he was a lower demon that was ejected from the lower demon. So he's like super low level. Like he was so weak that he was ejected from the lower level demons. And so Tanjiro, hearing about this bloodbath up on the mountain, is like excited because he's like, okay, cool, maybe I'll meet a lower 12 demon and I can send their blood sample back to Tamayo. And they get up there and it's a bunch of like, again, back to the horror dynamic of it. Like it's a bunch of spider powers. Like it's a demon family, air quotes family, that all have spider powers. Like one of them is using like spider webs to attach to people's backs and like force them to fight each other. Another one...
Like a puppeteer.
Yeah, like a puppeteer. Another one is just literally a giant 300-pound fucking spider monster. Another one is entrapping people inside of like web casing and just like digesting their beings. And...
basically liquefying them.
Another one is using a demon blood art to like cut people apart through like steel plated webbing almost, or whatever the fuck it is.
Like threading.
Exactly. So really early, so it's our main 3 here. It's Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. They Zenitsu gets split apart from Inosuke and Tanjiro like right away. And he's such a pussy, like, that kind of helps him because he's just, like, scared the whole time and just running away from everything. But what Inosuke and Tanjiro are dealing with are Demon Slayer Corp people being controlled by this demon that they can't even see. And, like, you can either cut their webbing on their back, or the webbing will reattach, and the demon will keep trying to use the Demon Slayer Corps personnel to, like, attack each other. Which is broken, because it's like, Inosuke and Tanjiro are such good people, they're like, dude, we can't kill these innocent people.
And then, was there, like, a piece of it, too, like, if you cut, like, the webbing... is like so traumatic they could also fucking die or some shit.
Well, yeah, because most of them were already in a point of
you would have to cut it like super perfectly. That's where the sword skills come in too.
What CJ's talking about is that like a lot of them are already almost close to death. That if you like gave that shock to their body, like the webbing was like giving them life, they die anyways. So it's terrible, you know. So like Tanjiro's trying to do this thing where he's just flipping people up into the tree and just making them hang there. And to the point that, like, Tanjiro finds the main demon that's doing this, and it's like this girl that's like she's a demon. Don't get me wrong. She's got white hair and like red markings on her face, like spider,
like a webbing system.
Yes, yeah, like a webbing system. And she's terrified. She's like, I can't stop what I'm doing, or he's gonna get me, and he's gonna murder me. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Like, are you gonna go get him? And he just kind of
Stockholm syndrome.
Right, exactly. And he cuts off her head. And talking back about the smells and the empathy like Tanjiro feels for every demon he kills, he's like, he smelled a sense of acceptance. Like, he cuts off her head, puts her to death, and is basically, I smelled her giving her life up to me.
She was basically relieved that it was over. Her
She
nightmare
asked
was
me to do
officially
this.
over. Yeah.
Right, basically. So, they keep going. And at that same...
like, all the demon deaths is like assisted suicide.
Exactly. That's how they try to treat all of them. Because if that's the A plot, the B plot right here is Zenitsu is scared shitless running up the mountain. He gets bit by a spider on the back of his neck and is still not worried about it, still running along. And then...
he gets bit on his hand.
Oh, was it on his hand?
Yeah,
I thought it was on the back of the neck or something. Whatever. So a spider bites him, and then he's running along, and then this big, ugly, like 10-foot bald spider, it looks like the thing from Toy Story 1.
Oh, yeah.
How
Baby claw, whatever?
Yes, the baby claw spider monster thing. It looks exactly like that. And it's basically talking to Zenitsu, being like, you were infected by one of my spider bites, which means that you're going to turn into one of my spider minions in the next 30 minutes. He even pulls out a pocket watch. He's like, do you see when it hits here in 30 minutes? That means that you're going to be my minion.
It's like a sand clock, isn't it? Or some shit like
No,
that?
it's a literal stopwatch. Like a super old school, like windy looking
Oh,
stopwatch.
okay.
And Zenitsu, he's such a pussy. He runs up into a tree and he's like, the rest of the spiders are never going to get me up here. He just passes out of like exasperation. Like he's so scared he passes out inside of a tree to the point that it wakes up like inner super OP Zenitsu. And he keeps trying to like pose like he's going to do the thunderclap breathing form 1 or whatever. And the other spider's like, why is this kid still moving? Like 25 minutes have passed. Like he shouldn't even be mobile with the amount of venom that's inside of him. And Zenitsu keeps trying to wind up, and he keeps trying to wind up, and he keeps trying to wind up. And even the spider demon's like, why does he keep trying to wind up the same fucking power? To the point that he throws all of his little spider minions on him and tries to encompass Zenitsu and all these spiders. And Zenitsu, we start seeing the thunderclap breathing power that like... all the lightning starts feeding through all these spiders that are on top of him. That it just blasts off. And then you just... talking about like the empathy thing, and like most of the fights are really, really short, but they're encompassed in between like big flashback sequences. We get Zenitsu's flashback sequence.
Yeah.
So it's that whole thing about like him getting bought out by somebody that bought out his debt from a prostitute and was beating him the fuck up, and he has blonde hair because he got so emotional while inside of a tree while his master was trying to like tell him that he needs to keep practicing a breathing technique, the thunderclap breathing technique, that a thunderstorm appeared right above his head and shocked the tree, and it turns Zenitsu's hair blonde, which it's never fully like explained, but I take that as like a metaphor about like Zenitsu really being a thunderclap prodigy, because him being stressed so much and not even checking his breathing caused a thunderstorm to appear above his head.
Yeah.
And that thunderstorm like permanently turned him blonde to the point that he's being signified as like, no, I'm the thunderclap breather. Like,
And it's like this like super like deep mental thing like the Hulk is, because it just like when you start seeing that as a first time viewer and how you follow these characters, like you want Zenitsu to be scared so he can do that transition. You know? So it feels so like, God, this guy is such a pussy, but I want him to be a pussy, because if he weren't a pussy, he's not gonna pass out and we're not gonna see cool shit.
Right, exactly.
And it's so good. Fuck, I hate that Zenitsu's alter ego is not prominent all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind
But
of...
I hate it and I love it.
That's kind of the point, because it's it might even be in Mugen Train which was already animated, where there's like a flashback in Zenitsu where he's like, why can't I do anything but like the first form? There's literally 6 forms of this bitch, and I can only do form number 1. And in season 1, you see a flashback from the master being like, who cares? You're good at one thing. Practice that shit of that one fucking thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But in the Mugen Train arc, you see a sequence from Zenitsu when he's trapped inside of one of the cabin cars and he's being attacked by demons. And it's just like, why can I do nothing but this one move? I cannot kill 10 people at once with this one move. And then he just kind of like brain blasts himself. He's like, what if I just do that one move 10 times in a row? like there's 10 demons in this cart. What if I just brain blast my way and do 10 of the thunderclap flashes 10 times in a row? And he does that, and it's just like, and that Zenitsu's writing is exactly the same way through the whole 200 chapters, because even near the end, where it's like, Zenitsu, do something, it's just like, okay, thunderclap, form 1, here I fucking go. Like, it's so broken, like, how good he gets at the one move. And that's what's so perfect about this writing right here, because it's like, he busts out of that, all these spiders trying to bite him, infect him even more, and then he when I'm talking about, the fights are literally like 5 minutes long. All the Zenitsu fights are an example of that. So he just thunderclaps his way and just zip, zaps, and zooms his way to the very top where the spider demon is that's infecting everybody. Cuts him in half in like half a second. And the rest of the episode is him just laying on the top of this house being like, I can feel the venom pumping through my veins. I'm just going to keep trying to do the concentrated breathing technique.
So I can heal.
Yeah, so I can heal, and it's going to slow down the venom from pumping through the rest of my body. So you just see him just like breathing for the rest of the episode.
And the use of fucking CGI and 3D modeling is used so good, like in this moment.
Very particularly. Like, you have to know what you're looking for.
Not just that, but like even when you're able to see it, it's not there for long. It's just there for a badass ending to a fight, and it's fucking dope.
So back to the A plot right there. Tanjiro killed the girl that was like puppeteering everybody, and they find like the air quotes father demon out on a lake bed, and it's this giant like 600-pound demon. Tanjiro can't even cut him with the water wheel because his skin's so strong, and Tanjiro gets launched like 100 feet in the air, and he's just like, "Hey, Inosuke, please don't die. Like, I'm gonna keep running this way, and maybe I can find like the other main demons." And it's just Inosuke being like, "Don't worry about it, Tanjiro. I'm gonna use my beast breathing technique to try to defeat this demon." Inosuke just gets his fucking ass handed to him for like 2 episodes. Like, we're talking about how short like the good fights are. Inosuke is just fucking getting murdered for like 2 whole episodes. Like, every bone's broken, every rib's broken, 3 arms are broken, and he's still out here being like, okay, I'm just gonna use my 2 fucking Hashiri swords, and I'm gonna keep going at it. To the point that he breaks both of his swords over the skin of this demon. Mm-hmm. And what it takes is Gyo, the water Hashira, to jump onto the mountain and like kill this demon for Inosuke. And it's both the water Hashira and the butterfly Hashira. Mm-hmm. So they're coming up here, and they're gonna help because we know that they're losing a bunch of men up on this mountain. To the point that like Inosuke basically almost dies until Gyo showed up. Gyo one-shots the spider demon dad. And then Inosuke, he's such like an egomaniac. He's like upset. You know what I mean? He's like, you know what? I feel like I'm stronger than you, bitch boy. Like, I don't care if you one-shotted that demon. Fight me right now. And then, or else you're a bitch. And Gyo just kind of like ties up Inosuke on a tree.
Fucking funny,
like in a second. Like, Gyu is so fast, he just ties him up in half a second. He's just like, if you can't even realize how hurt you are and you're trying to run back into battle, you're literally a detriment.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just stay right the fuck here. Don't move. Somebody's gonna come get you eventually.
Is this where we get his face reveal?
It's the face reveal for Inosuke is
later.
It's before.
That's when
it's when they're
house. Yeah,
it's when they're in the house healing.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. And again, another funny trope about Inosuke is that
he's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous. his Yeah, he's gorgeous. He's his best girl.
Like, for real. Like, by the start of, like 3 arcs after this, which is the Entertainment District arc, which is where the anime currently is, they're trying to, like, break into prostitutes and brothels. You know what I mean? So one of those aspects is, like, Inosuke's so pretty, we can let him pretend that he's a girl and a prostitute.
Yeah, it's like the one character in the Zodiac Chinese calendar one. Fruits baskets.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. Like, he's so pretty, like, you wouldn't even know that he's trans or whatever.
Yeah.
But Inosuke is not trans. That's the thing. Like, he's literally just really gorgeous as fuck. But he's got a deep as fuck voice. Which is why I was saying, like, the dub is so fucking annoying. Because, like, in that episode, in the sub, like, that, the Hashira that's putting them on this mission will be like, hey, like, you're gonna pretend to be prostitutes for X and Y, Z amount of time. You're gonna break into these brothels and you can pretend to be one of their own. But Inosuke, shut the fuck up. don't ever say anything. Your voice is so deep, they're gonna know right away that you're a man.
Immediately discover you.
And his dialect is uneducated.
Yeah,
too.
super fucking bummy.
Yeah.
Like, one of the memes in season 1 is that he can't even pronounce Tanjiro's name.
Like Tajiro.
Yeah.
Taguro.
Yeah.
Like, there's too many syllables in it. Like, it's too technical of a name for Inosuke to even be able to pronounce it.
Correct.
So Inosuke's tied up. He's deemed unfit to battle the rest of the fight. And at that same time, Zenitsu is collecting his breathing and trying not to let the poison progress on the top of this house where he defeated the spider demon. And the butterfly Hashira is
Kosho?
Is it Kosho? What's her name?
Shinobu?
Oh, Shinobu? Yeah, dude, she's fucking
Shinobu
amazing.
Kosho?
Yes, Shinobu. She flies in, and she's a wizard at fucking producing antitoxins.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, one look at the fight, she can see exactly what medicines need to be applied to protect Zenitsu's life.
She's the head of, like, the medic department, right? Like, the whole, like, infirmary people.
Uh-huh. And the thing about, what I think is crazy about Shinobu is that her personality is fake. So, like,
It's so crazy.
as soon as she's introduced, I like it more in the sub, because in the dub she's like, "Hey, little boy, what's up?" But in the sub, it's very soft. She has such a soft voice. It's like, "Moshi mosh."
Yeah.
Like, little boy, are you okay? Like, I see that you're kind of cut up. Like, congrats on beating that monster. But she just has a normal girl voice in the dub.
But then again, to my point of this being like a villain origin story, Shinobu takes a spot on this narrative of, like, the worst shit happened to you, but you are above that.
Yes.
But her personality is fake, as in, like, a serial killer's personality is fake.
Her whole personality and way of speaking is modeled off of her dead sister.
Mm-hmm.
So her dead sister is somebody like Tanjiro, who thought a demon could be converted. That demon that she trusted killed her. So, Shinobu, trying to, like, keep the memory of her sister alive, her sister's favorite thing about Shinobu was her smile. And, like, when she was happy and, like, passive. And that's why Shinobu's always trying to be that person now.
But not just that. Like, Shinobu was a slave trade. Like, a product of human trafficking, wasn't she?
You're thinking of Kanao.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, Shinobu, while trained, when her sister was still alive, bought a slave. Whose name is Kanao. Well, we'll talk about her later. Hold on. We're not talking about Kanao right now. Hold on.
Yes.
Give me 10 minutes. So anyways, Shinobu basically starts giving Zenitsu a cure. Zenitsu's still alive. Blah, 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 blah. Tanjiro back to the A plot. We're right now. These episodes are cool because we're switching between A and B a lot. You know what I mean? So Tanjiro, ejected from the fight with the giant spider demon with the impenetrable skin on the river, is ejected back to where the main demon is, and this demon is like. He's a sadist. He's a demon who's in the body of a child who's been alive for hundreds of years, and he has put his blood as a recipient of Muzan's blood. He's given his blood to other demons to give them demon powers and like force them to be his adopted family. Mm-hmm. Because pretty much his only memory from him being a human is that his parents tried to kill him because he was chronically ill and he accepted Muzan's blood. And after he turned into a demon, his parents tried to murder him. So that's why he's trying to recreate like a family dynamic within these demons. So this guy's batshit insane. Like he's the first real member of the 12 what are they called? The 12
ranks?
The 12 ranks of Muzan. He's lower 6 or something like that, or lower 5.
Right? The upper moon.
Well, no, he's one of the lower moons.
The lower moons, yeah.
He's like lower 5 or lower 6.
I want to say he was 12. He wasn't he the very last?
Lower rank 5.
Yeah, he's lower rank 5.
Oh, okay, so he was basically number 11, wasn't he?
Right, exactly. Because like it's called like the 12 demons of Muzan, but like it's an upper 6 and then a lower 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A team and then the starting squad and then the backups.
So this guy's name is Rui, and his power is basically to make like steel webbing from his hands. And he can use his blood demon art to inject his blood into the webbing and make it even more impenetrable.
Like a poisonous webbing.
Right. So when Tanjiro finds him, he lower rank 5 here, Mr. Rui, is cutting his adopted sister's face. Because he swears his adopted sister isn't acting enough like a sister here. He's like, do you not see how these other family members are acting? They're literally putting their lives on the line for their younger brothers. I'm your younger brother. Why can't you do that for me? And he senses Tanjiro like looking at him from afar. Mm-hmm. He's like, why are you watching this family affair happening right now? And he tries. He just passively starts throwing his like indestructible webbing at Tanjiro. And Tanjiro, he's like holding his own for a while. He's like, water style this, water style that. He starts using the 11th form of water breathing that he hadn't been able to use previously, where he can use the momentum of
waterfall.
Of waterfall, of flipping over himself and using his own like body momentum to keep gaining power and power. But the webbing's so strong it cuts his sword. Tanjiro's sword's like cut like at like 3 inches above the hilt. So now Tanjiro's fucked. And when Tanjiro's about to get cut, Nezuko pops out of the box and like protects him. Mm-hmm. And Rui here, the demon's like, why would this demon Nezuko protect his boy? And Tanjiro's like, because that's my sister. She fucking loves me. I love her. I'm about that bitch. She's about me.
This is what real family is.
This is what real family is. And Rui's like, I want a family dynamic. That's my sister now. Your Nezuko's my Nezuko. So now Rui's like, yeah, that's my demon sister. And now Tanjiro has a whole nother motivation. So it's like, this demon is going to try to steal my sister from me. So it's this whole other piece of it, to the point that like he grabs Nezuko and like she gets cut so much that she's bleeding a bunch. Mm-hmm. And it's not only that, like he tries hurting Tanjiro and Nezuko jumps in the way and gets cut. And then he uses his steel-laced webbing to, like, just hang Nezuko up. And again, the horror aspect. Like, she looks like she's being hung from the cross. Like, she's bleeding everywhere.
Like, Saw shit.
Like, imagine Saw, exactly.
Imagine seeing your younger sister being strung up like that. Like, yeah, you'd be pissed, too.
And it sounds corny to say, or as this whole anime goes, like, Tanjiro's motivation is to save his sister the entire time.
Always. Oh, it never changes. It literally never changes. Literally, chapter 205, it's still the same shit.
Yeah. So, we were talking about, like, the blood samples from demons. That's not even, like, Tanjiro's motivation to know what Mugen is about. Yeah. It's about having a cure for Nezuko.
Yeah.
To turn him back into a human.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And this, like, that part of the narrative is super emphasized here, because it's like I don't know. It's just like killing off your Zoro, killing off your Vegeta, killing off your, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy.
It is. It because like it's like when Tanjiro's only left with like 3 inches of blade, like you're like, holy shit, he's really gonna die. Even though it's like episode like 17, 18 here. So Tanjiro tries doing the rising tide thing again, where he's trying to gain the momentum, and he's trying to cut through the blood demon art technique with the spider webbing, and to the point that like that Rui just like makes like a shield casing around Tanjiro. And then we get a whole episode that's just a flashback, right? Because like, again, with the pacing, like it's so breakneck pace that it has to cut itself in between to be like, no, I got to give you some exposition. For,
and
like a whole
you
chapter
said,
here.
we're on episode 18 and we've gotten so much of this anime.
Like the whole time on the mountain with the spider people is like 16 through 19.
Yeah.
It's such a big deal, but it's like 3-4 episodes. Because, so we get this flashback from Tanjiro, where his dad was always very sickly. And they're professional charcoal makers or whatever, but at the beginning of every new year, around like, I guess January or so, the dad would do like a 48-hour flame dance, where he's basically paying respect to the gods. And he's just like, hey, I know my line of business is very dangerous and I'm playing with fire. Please keep protecting me and my family, and I'll pay to respect this super complicated, physically demanding dance, right?
One thing I want to bring up though is the animation in that scene when they're doing the dancing. The
dad.
It's a style of animation called rotoscope animation.
Yeah,
it's basically where they trace it's where they trace like an actual live footage of somebody, like an actual human person, and they trace it in order to make it look as realistic as possible. Mm-hmm. Dude, that was possibly one of the best scenes I've ever seen in anime.
Because of the dad's in CGI.
Dude, that was so fucking incredible.
No, it's great. It's great because like it's not only that, but it's Tanjiro getting a flashback while in the cocoon casing if this demon that's using this blood demon art, remembering his dad and how he was dancing and be like, what did Dad call that? He called that the flame dance?
I like how they bring up, because before when Shinobu's talking to Zenitsu, she's just like, she makes that point where she's like, your body flashes back. Like, the reason why your life flashes before your eyes is because your body's trying to recognize a moment in time where maybe it could bring up something that could help save you. Mm-hmm. And then when Tanjiro has that moment where he's like being encased in there, he starts coming up with all these like, holy shit, flashback moments. And that's when he remembers specifically what his dad told him about the Hinokami dance.
Right.
Good point. Like genetic memory.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So like Tanjiro, he's been using the water breathing technique this whole time. He basically teaches himself the flame breathing technique, the sun breathing technique in half a second.
Yeah, he remembers. He's like, yo, my family actually studied in this shit. What the fuck?
Right. So he's trying to think. He's just like, there has to be a water breathing technique that's more powerful and like faster thinking and faster moving than like anything I'm doing right now, even more than the 11th breathing technique. And that's when he goes into the flashback and he's just like, what was Dad doing? Dad was fumbling onto himself and using a concentrated breathing technique. And his shit was able to like light on fire. He lit his own staff on fire. So Tanjiro starts doing that, and that's where we get like that like 30-second sequence that's like GIFed all over Twitter. That's like the best piece of animation from like all of 2020.
That's what made the mangaka cry. Actually, the whole animation scene. She actually like came out and said like, "Yo, after seeing that whole scene play out, I was brought to tears."
It's gorgeous. It really is because like it's not only Tanjiro's like flipping over himself using the fire breathing technique, so his dragon thing that's popping out of his sword turns from blue to bright red, and he's cutting through the webbing, and he knows he has to cut off this guy's neck, and he hits his neck, and like it's his blade stops, the 3-inch blade stops, and it's too fucking strong. But at that same time, Nezuko hanging up from like the tree lining with all her blood spilling everywhere, she develops a blood demon technique, a blood demon art, where she can light her blood on fire. So like she just starts like gripping at the blood, like dripping her own blood dripping down from the webbing, being a blood demon art, fire incarnation, or whatever the fuck it's called. And then Nezuko's blood is also on Tanjiro's sword, so she's able to light it and cause like more forward moving momentum on Tanjiro's sword. So like that piece of animation is just like this huge cyclical, like bright red orange like sequence.
So Matrix kind of shit.
Exactly.
First time seeing that, I almost was brought to tears. That shit was fucking incredible. Music was good, spot on, amazing. Animation was top tier, S tier, if I have to say so. Most anime people will know what I'm talking about when I say S tier.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, that shit was incredible. I understand why the manga was brought to tears. That shit almost brought me damn near to tears.
And that's what's cool though, because like in any other anime, that's like the end of the final boss fight, right?
Yes.
But even right there, it's just like, oh, Tanjiro, you're a fucking idiot. I cut my own head off. Because I saw that you were going to cut my head off, and I just severed my own head with my own webbing, and you lost the fight anyways. Because you are so out of energy, and you've exasperated yourself so much that, like, you can't even defend yourself about me.
You're done.
You're done.
Fuck, bro.
And that's when, Gyu... That's when we see where he's like, where you think the utmost moment where it's like, damn, Tanjiro, after all that, you're still about to lose?
It felt like a Luffy fight.
No, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. It
feels like a Luffy fight.
It
like, how many
definitely
Luffy fights are like that where it's like, Luffy dropped everything on this one fight, and he's still about to lose.
Still about to lose, but then, thank the heavens, Gyu pulls up and just demonstrates that, like, yo, I'm a Hashira for a reason.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I mean?
because like even
I make that decision.
Even Tanjiro only knew about 11 forms. Gyu
10 forms, actually.
10 forms, whatever. Yeah. Gyu shows up, he's like, secret 11th form.
Yeah,
Tanjiro's like dead in the back, like what the fuck? 11th form? What is that?
The dead calm? That was fucking
It's literally
sick.
called
that
dead
was
calm.
Sick.
So, like, how I'm talking about, like, all these sword forms are a metaphor for themselves. Like, there's not real lightning, there's not real flame, there's not real water. It's all a metaphor. So when you see Gyu be like dead calm, the backdrop falls around him, all the trees dissipate, and you just see him in the middle of a lake, just pointing his sword downward, and it's called like a dead calm, and it's like a drop of water just hitting like this dead calm like surface in front of him. So the demon trying to throw like all the webbing at him, Gyu, basically the point between the 11th form is that like you're so calm and your stance is so forthright that you can cut anything coming in your way, like in a fraction of a second, because like your form's so perfect. And that's exactly what like Gyu does right here. Like he cuts all the webbing, and even the demon's like, "What the fuck? Like I just threw everything at you. I threw the impenetrable webbing at you. How did you cut that?" And Gyu just cuts his head.
I like how they cut right when he cuts his head, they show the point of view of the demon, and he literally in the blink of an eye, he fucking blinks, and Gyu has already walked past him, sliced his neck.
Right, because like they're showing it from the demon's perspective, so it's like he's looking straight at Gyu. Gyu disappears from his field of perspective, but like his vision is cut in half. So like half's going right, half's going left, because his literal eye line, his eyeballs were cut in half.
Mm-hmm. Like a la Freezer Trunks.
Frieza,
yes.
Like when
Frieza
Frieza did it to
yeah,
Trunks.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean when Trunks did it to Frieza.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same exact thing.
That's your typical anime moment where you get sliced so fucking fast you don't know what happens.
You're still alive.
Yeah,
your vision is
next
just
thing
like,
you know,
fuck.
your vision is.
I'm seeing sideways.
Crazy. It looks so good. And at that same moment, what's her face? The butterfly Hashiri. Shinobu comes through after the fight, and she's like, "Hey, Gyu, I'm gonna kill that demon Nezuko, that girl with the pink hair." And Gyu gets in her way. He's like, "No, he doesn't say anything ever." And the thing about I like how Gyu is actually written outside of fights, because he's kind of a loser and he's like socially awkward, and like Shinobu is like kind of cool. Like she comes from a lineage of Hashira, so she's kind of
elite. Actually,
elite. You know what I mean? She has this air of speaking that seems like super uppity. And the thing about Gyu is he's just nobody. He's literally nobody that turned out to be super talented. So Gyu's trying to protect Nezuko, and Shinobu's like, "That's why no one likes you, Gyu. You're super awkward and weird." And like Gyu, as opposed to like defending himself or doing anything else, or like talking down to her, he's just like, does nobody really like me? Like, does everyone really think I'm a loser?
I mean, to be honest, that would affect anybody. Anybody that knows and like, hey, nobody likes you. Are you for real? Nobody
That's
likes me?
I think that's what's so funny, because like it's written like like she says it so matter of factly, but it's such like a bitchy thing that she would never tell anybody ever. So, Gyu tells Tanjiro, like, grab Nezuko, run. Just grab your sister and run. Like, we're not dealing with this. I'll deal with the girl. And so even Shinobu, like, tries jumping into the trees, doing fucking Naruto tree running, and like just being like, well, I'm gonna get there before he does. Like, I'm gonna kill that girl no matter what. And Gyu just like keeps tackling her and punching her, and she keeps doing like really suggestive language. Like he puts her in like a chokehold, and it's just like, this isn't the kind of choking I wanted. Or like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's happening for like a little while up until the crows come through, and the crows are like, attention, attention! Please leave the demon Nezuko alone, and please bring alive the demon slayer Tanjiro and demon Nezuko alive to the mansion. Do not kill Nezuko. Do not kill Nezuko. And even Shinobu's like, well, I guess that solves that. That's super weird, but
like convenient, yeah.
Yeah, that's super convenient for you. That's totally never happened that they've ever ordered us not to kill a demon, but good for you, I guess. And at that same moment, Shinobu's adopted sister, Kano. She's the butterfly Hashira in training.
Like the prodigy, I guess.
Yeah. She belongs to the butterfly mansion. She's the butterfly Hashira in training, who was in the same final selection as Tanjiro. Mm-hmm. And Zenitsu. She is super, super talented. Like, Tanjiro is fucked up, ribs broken, arms broken, doesn't have a sword anymore. He's just trying to duck and dodge away from Kanao from trying to kill Nezuko. And she almost kills him. She almost kills both Tanjiro and Nezuko just because, like, her mission as a demon slayer is just to kill demons.
Yeah, basically. I mean, to be fair, you're just doing your job, so can you really be mad, you know?
A little bit.
It's like, bro, that's my sister, man. Relax.
So, that's like the end of episode 19, right? So the beginning of episode 20 is Tanjiro, after being knocked the fuck out. Cause they literally just keep like fucking sword hilting him in the face to like...
Concussion.
To give him a concussion. And he comes out of his concussion handcuffed in front of like this super nice, fancy, like, traditional Japanese home. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, where the fuck am I? Who the fuck is this? And one of the medical team personnel is just like, you're in front of the Hashira right now.
He wakes up in a trial.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. You're basically in a impromptu trial. You're lucky that you haven't already been murdered. And basically, this is where we meet
the rest of the Hashiras.
Pillars.
Mm-hmm.
The Hashira, but not only the Hashira, but like the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps.
Kagaya?
Oh, the man that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, the one with the I don't want to call it like a disease or something like that.
It's
but
a curse.
The curse on his face.
His name is Kaguya Ubuyashiki.
Ubuyashiki.
Because the Ubuyashikis, it's kind of spoilers, but it's not spoilers. The Ubuyashiki have basically been cursed to produce people to kill Muzan from the minute Muzan was created.
Like the light.
They were basically tasked to bring Muzan down.
The force to the dark side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if Muzan was created like 500 years ago, like...
The yin to the yang.
Right. The very first, like, Ubuyashiki, like, character was tasked to, like, bring Muzan down. And they keep... being raised cursed because they have yet to bring down Muzan.
Team Rocket blasting off again.
Exactly. So he's animated fucking crazy. Like his character model, like from the nose up, he has this super deteriorated pink fucking flesh looking face.
Like a burn scar.
Like a burn scar, exactly. And it's basically that's just how he's born. And like the longer he lives, the more like his curse progresses.
And he's blind too.
Mm-hmm. And he has like these demon sisters that help him, like they're effigies of the family that like try to like help him conduct official business or like spy on other people, because even as soon as the Hashira and Tanjiro show up to his mansion, he already knows that Nezuko's never killed anybody. Because the crows and like the little birds that he has flying around are able to spy on everybody. So he already basically knows everything.
Yeah, and they don't really talk so much about like this, like a la Star Wars, the Force, light side of the Force kind of thing to him. But it just feels like a sword and Power Rangers style kind of leader.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't really emphasize on the other side of this, like, demon and light side of whatever the fuck is going on here in this fantastical world.
Right, and they never explain it, which is another one of those things. They never really kind of explain what's going on with his family. It's just kind of like, we're just permanently cursed by...
Yeah, they just kind of give you
whatever.
the information, and they're like, just take that as face value, you know what I mean? Just there you go.
And the rest of the pillars, because they've spent their whole lives killing high-powered demons, they're just like, we have to kill Nezuko. Just put Tanjiro to death for harboring a demon. Harboring a demon. Put Nezuko to death, and we're done with it. Like, it's the stone pillar. It's the sound pillar. We meet a love pillar, the mist pillar. Like, and all these... That's what's also, like, kind of a detriment to the pacing in Demon Slayer, because, like, the pacing's probably the best part of Demon Slayer, right? And, like, the pacing basically... The storytelling basically tells you that we're going to be introduced to every pillar, to every Hashira, and we're going to get a backstory on them, and we're going to get their own arc, yada, yada, yada. But near, like, after the halfway mark in the totality of the manga, they just start, like, avalanching their way to the end. To the point that all the Hashira, like, backstories and power systems and the getting to know you part about every Hashira after maybe the Entertainment District arc is so quick, it feels like you were cheated. Because it's like, I spent all this time thinking that the Mist Pillar was going to be this great fucking person, and you gave his whole backstory in 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good, but that's also, like, the worst part about it, because it's like, if this was One Piece, like, think about...
they will flush him the fuck out.
Right. Like,
yeah, they definitely would.
Even thinking about in the current arc, what's his name? The samurai daimyo.
Which one?
Odin?
Yeah.
Right. So we get a character named Odin, and he's basically like the mentor to all the main samurais in the current arc in One Piece, right? We get like 25 chapters on the bitch. in fucking Demon Slayer, that'd be like 2-3 chapters, which is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. But it's just different. It's different aspects. Like both of them work within each other, but it's so different. So, they give Nezuko like a test, kind of, because the Wind Hashira is just like, I've killed millions of demons, and I know every demon is just out here for blood. And he starts like pushing his green fucking lit ass like sharp jagged sword through Tanjiro's box that has Nezuko inside of it, just to piss her off enough to like get him to try to get her to react to like human blood. He
even cuts himself for
her to smell
the blood.
Right, so he cuts his wrist open, throws her box with her in it inside of the house, so that she's out of the daylight, and he's just like, "Hey, little demon, we're out of the daylight, and my veins are cut open. Try to eat me now." And she just kind of like turns her head. She's like, "No, that's disgusting." and that's like exactly what Tanjiro was saying about Nezuko, because what the cool part that they didn't even mention at the very beginning is that Master Kaguya was written a letter by Uro Dadaki that said that both Uro Kadaki and Gyu would put their lives on the line.
They would commit seppuku.
Recommendation letter.
A recommendation letter with seppuku written into it. Seppuku is the Japanese samurai notion of like killing yourself.
Honorable
suicide. You know, so it's like, I believe so much that Nezuko will never eat another person, that if she ever does, I will both kill myself, and Gyo's gonna kill himself too. Like, one of the Hashira is gonna murk himself by cutting his guts open if Nezuko ever like kills somebody.
Yeah, bombing Japan was totally unnecessary.
A little bit. A little bit.
And let alone twice.
No, it should never happen twice.
Yeah, that should have never happened twice.
So, Tanjiro, his first time hearing this out, he turns to Gyu and he's just like, for real, bro? You barely know me and you're gonna like murk yourself for my sister? And it's so crazy because
and this where it kind of ends, because it ends kind of like on a cliffhanger to.
Well, that's like episode 21 though, because like the rest of the season is like the concentrated total breathing continuous training.
Oh, you're right.
So basically, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro are so fucked up, and they get sent to the Butterfly Mansion, to the Butterfly Hashira's mansion, to Shinobu's mansion, to train up. You know what I mean? Because like they're clearly talented, but they're not nearly trained enough.
You know what's crazy? I mean, a lot of animes that we've talked about have this like cliffhanger, the second to the last episode.
Right.
But then the next episode doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Here, Demon Slayer is like, we just left you with a cliffhanger of what the pillars are, and now we're just putting you in this other world, or this other like arc of the story, so you don't think so much about it, but you're still thinking about it. You know?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about, the pacing, because like we do the entire final fight sequence, episode 19, episode 20.
But 4 episodes
and
is long for a closing.
And then we get 5 episodes just about our main 3 learning how to do total
Basic
concentrating, breathing continuous.
Was it Shinobu? I believe it was Shinobu that asked him, like, Dad, do you do your breathing all the time? Because that's what we Hashiras do. You know, we breathe literally 24/7. Like, we never stop breathing. We're always in that breathing mode.
Yeah.
And that's when he was just like, yo, I've never actually...
And Tanjiro's like, is that even possible?
Yeah, he's like, I've only ever done it in the moments that I need it. And she's like, no, we do that shit, like, daily, bro. What are you talking about?
So like, one of the rehabilitation techniques is, like, they have to grab cups of medicated water and throw it on the other person, but the person you're playing against can, like, knock your hand down and keep the cup down so that you don't splash them. And Kano, who's the girl being trained by Shinobu, like, the other guys can't even touch her. Like they can't even come close to trying to throw the medicated water on her. And Tanjiro's the one being like, how the fuck is she doing that? That's literally impossible for me. And that's like when Shinobu's like talking through, like, hey, if you maybe just try doing total concentration all the time, maybe you could get her. And that's when Tanjiro's like, holy shit, that's why she's so fucking talented. Because she's just really doing this hyper-powered, like, breathing all the time. Because she's basically mastered being the hyper-powered individual that Tanjiro becomes, like, when he does the total concentrated breathing, but it's all the time.
It's like keeping Saiyan form.
Yeah, which is like actually a prevalent thing in Dragon Ball Z.
Actually, yeah, if you did see that filler episode where him and Gohan go Super Saiyan... No, Goku and Gohan go Super Saiyan.
They go in the hyperbolic time chamber and they go Super Saiyan for like a few days at a time.
This was I think
I was talking about
a little bit after that.
I was talking about the episode where Krillin and Goku are chilling by a river, and Goku is in Saiyan form, hanging out. And he's like, and Krillin is like, has this inner dialogue of like, oh, I bet he's training this whole time. He has to be alert, and then he throws a rock at him. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, and he hits him in the head. No, yeah, that's the same. That's the same. It's during the Cell Games arc where they're training in order to like maintain their Super Saiyan form for as long as they can. And yeah, Goku and Gohan are just chilling by like this like riverbed. Yeah, and Krillin pulls up like in his like suit or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" And then yeah, Krillin is just like, man, he must be on some high-level training type shit. And he throws a rock. He's like, I bet you he'll block that shit and be Goku, you know? And he throws a rock right at him, and fucking Goku gets hit in the head with that shit. He's like, yo, what the fuck, man? He's like, oh, shit, my bad. I thought you were training. He's like, no, I'm just chilling, bro. Relax. It's fucking hilarious. No, I know what Aldo's talking about.
So they essentially are keeping a Saiyan form all the time.
Right. So, like, originally... It was Zenitsu and what's his name? The board guy.
The board guy. Oh, the
board.
Inosuke.
Inosuke. Like they stopped showing up to daily training because they can't even get close to like beating Kano. So it's up to like the other little girls in the mansion that are like, hey Tanjiro, this is how Kano is able to do this, and this is how you need to be super overpowered. You need to learn how to like blow open this gourd, like through the total strength of your total concentration breathing. So the next like 4-5 episodes, which is the most time we spend in one place in season 1, is just the guys learning total concentration breathing, and that's it. That's literally it. We spend more time spending total concentration breathing total or whatever the fuck it's called than we spend on the entire time fighting the spider demons on the mountain, fighting the house demon that's able to flip buildings. And it's you still never feel like your time's being wasted though.
No, because even him going through this like breathing technique experience, we get tuned into this aspect of like your breathing has to be so strong you're able to blow up a canteen.
Right.
Like I can't remember the.
It's a gourd. It's a gourd. They call it a gourd.
Mm-hmm. It's a gourd, and the bigger the gourd is, the more gourd.
Gourd.
Yeah, like a gourd.
G-O-R-D.
Gourd.
G-O-U-R-D.
G-O-U-R-D. Thank you.
The bigger this gourd is, the more pressure your lungs have to make. Mm-hmm. So Tanjiro is able to literally.
It's like basically blowing up a ceramic pot.
Yeah, explode this fucking gourd.
Yeah. And the
like
rest,
you said, it doesn't. You don't feel like a waste of time throughout this training.
The rest of the guys, Inosuke included, and Zenitsu learned like the same things, how to blow up the gourd. And the thing about Zenitsu learning how to do total concentration breathing constant, it feels broken because you know his one technique, if he was able to do it all the time, would be absolutely crazy. Yes, that's what makes Zenitsu such a balanced character, because it's like, hey, you learn this technique that lets you do this super broken technique all the time.
But at the beginning, he's like, no, I'm scared. I still feel sick. I can't get out.
I might hurt somebody. Yeah. They might hurt me if I fuck them up too bad. It's
weird. It's a weird aspect to the writing, and here, like I said, like these 24, 25 episodes.
It's like 26 episodes.
It feels like 6 episodes because they give you so much shit, like super quick.
Yeah, and basically at the end of the mock trial that they had for Nezuko, the Flame Hashira, Mr. Kyojiro Rengoku, basically. He was sent on a mission to fight some demon, and like we're not really told at first what it is, but near the end we kind of are, because it's like once our team is trained up and they learn total concentration breathing constant, the crows come back and they're like, everybody go back to the train station and go find the Mugen train. 40 people have found missing. You will find the Flame Hashira Rengoku there. And then you'll learn more of the mission on site, and that's where the movie kicks in.
Mm-hmm. And that's where we're left off for
season 1.
Season 1,
season 2 to start. Yeah.
Well, the last part of season 1 is probably one of my favorite parts in context with the manga, because it's the ship, it's the relationship, it's Mr. Tanjiro and Kamo, because the thing about
Kano
is that she was a former slave, and she was basically trained from birth to not do anything without being told. Like, she won't even eat a meal while starving unless she's told she can do it.
Like super like emotional detachment,
right,
to herself.
She even they even described it in metaphor at one time. They were like, it felt like a snapping in my psyche at one point. Like at one point, I just felt a snap, and then people could tell me to do or say anything, and I never questioned it after that. And this is the shit. Like the spoilers, but no spoilers. The very last chapter of the manga is basically
wait, do you want
the happy ending?
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, so we do get a happy ending,
so we can talk about it.
But the ship here, the main ship that I think you don't see in season 1 is Tanjiro and Kanao, because
I mean
they make a family together.
You can kind of see it more or less. Because, I mean,
it's that super shonen protagonist thing where it's like he's so happy that she can't help but fall in love with him.
Fall in love with him, yeah.
Right, because it's literally she has a like a dime, like a penny that she flips in the air whenever she has to make a decision. Because of how she was as a slave, unless she's given direct instructions, she cannot make any decisions on her own.
Her emotional attachment.
It is so severe that she literally cannot make a decision on her own.
She needed a coin flip for it.
So, basically. Tanjiro can literally be having a full conversation with her. She will not answer unless she flips a coin and the coin says, like, you can speak back, right? So, Tanjiro sees that and is just like, you know what? What is the voice in your heart too small or what's going on? So he flips a coin like 100 feet in the air. By the time it comes back down, he's like, if it's heads, then you have to listen to the voice in your heart, which is super corny. I get it. It's super shonen, but it works here.
It works. Yeah, it definitely does.
Because it comes down as heads. And it's just like, now you have to listen to whatever your heart says all the time. You can't be listening to the coin. And even Kanao, like, is like, how did you know it was going to be heads? And he's like, that's literally luck. I did not know it was going to be heads, but what I knew from where I was standing was I was going to keep flipping it until it was heads.
Until it was heads.
And then again, to your point, dude, that, or to you, CJ, that you kind of see this happening. Like, the theme of this anime almost makes it seem like it's too perfect. The situation is too perfect to be true. It's too good to be true. So you have, as a first-time watcher, if you haven't finished it, you think that something's bad is going to happen.
Which it does. You're exactly right. You know? You're exactly right. But it works out, but it doesn't work out. Like, I feel like what's really cool about Demon Slayer the manga is that every time a situation is too perfect to be real, like, you're right, like something terrible is about to happen. But I've told you before, I cannot stand like bad endings. Like at the end of something where I have emotional investment, like I don't even care how tacky it comes off. Like I need
please make them happy.
Right, I need them to be happy at the end, which is how Demon Slayer is. The worst things possible can happen to them. Like, and they get their comeuppance. It's the worst things ever that could happen to somebody, but if you really break down the ending, like it ends on the upbeat.
It's like the Eternal Sunshine ending
of the Spotless Mind.
It's like riding off into the sunset.
Yeah, kind of. Like it's like, oh, I got my arm cut off, but I got the girl.
But we're not gonna talk about that in this episode. That was season 1 of fucking Demon Slayer.
Right, that's episode 76 of Between Nerds podcast.
Yes, sir. We had CJ here in our conversation.
Thank you, boys,
is Saturday. It is the first day of the year. It is my birthday month. It is also the month that you should use Down for the Nerds hashtag so you can be
Down for Nerds.
Down for Nerds. You're right. Hashtag Down for Nerds so we can donate and accumulate donations for the
Down Syndrome Coalition for El Paso.
Yes, and if you do enter and use the hashtag, just use the hashtag. When we say original tweet, you don't have to write a joke or anything. Just use the hashtag.
Even if it's just one singular tweet.
Yeah, you can even say like, yo, I just finished listening to Between Nerds. Hashtag Down for Nerds.
Exactly. So, like, we're already coming up on over 3 hours on this bitch, so I don't think we're going to do a nerd down.
Almost 4.
But, exactly, we're almost at 4 hours just talking about 26 episodes. So, just going over the housekeeping notes like Aldo's talking about, please use hashtag Down for Nerds. That's DOWNFORNERDS in order to Twitter, Instagram post, or YouTube comment to be entered into our January giveaway, and we'll be sending you cool tailor-made anime stuff, and for every like, retweet, or YouTube comment like, we will be donating to the Down Syndrome Coalition for El Paso. We are going to be watching Plastic Memories this upcoming week, a 13-episode anime original suggested to us originally by Jacob Banuelos, the owner and I guess head manager of TCG Battleground here in El Paso, Texas. He was on for our episode on No Game No Life, and I think that's it. please email us questions, comments, or concerns at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on every social media handle at Between Nerds.
Like us and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And please do not forget to use the hashtag Down for Nerds, because I really I not only appreciate, but I'm proud that you guys are actually doing a donation for this specific
organization.
Yeah, because like I said, this one actually really hits home for me, and like I said, like my family and people that I know. So I'm pretty sure there's more people out there that appreciate this guy. So that's really good.
Absolutely. My name is Drew Philip Elias. I'm here with my co-host
Aldo
Aldo Mendez, and this is Christopher James, aka CJ. This has been Between
Nerds.